fast. These cars going faster here than they ever have. And they go into the corner side by side, and they're actually too close together through the corner side by side at these speeds. And the car on the bottom normally loses aerodynamics and will spin out. We saw it a lot last night in the Busch race.
This is the 5th race in NASCAR's 10-race chase for the Nextel Cup Championship. The 10 drivers in yellow on the ticker at the top of the screen are the 10 drivers competing for the championship. Ryan Newman led the first lap. He gets 5 bonus points for leading that lap. More than 130,000 fans expected here tonight.
Man, I think Robbie Gordon in the back has got a flat tire or something. He's way off the plate. The tire came off his car.
The caution is out. The caution lights are on. The caution flag is out.
The left rear tire, the cap came off the tire.
I think I got a right rear flat tire.
Yeah, no tire. I saw him get squirrely up in 3 and 4, and he was trying to get out of the way. And here's where the tire finally comes off, right at the start-finish line.
Right in front of Jimmy Johnson, one of the contenders in the chase for the Nextel Cup, that 48 car. Jimmy qualified 3rd for this race, but had to start at the back of the field because of an engine problem earlier in the week. On board with Jimmy Johnson, who has won the last 3 races at this track.
Currently having trouble on the bottom up here in front of your pack, Jimmy. Checking up right here, man. Stay on the bottom. Come on. 7's right here in the middle. Side clear.
A lot of heads-up driving on a lot of drivers back there.
A lot of work was done on the racing surface here. They came in, they grinded it since the series raced here in May. That made the track surface smoother and faster, but the question is, how is it going to affect the race? You've addressed some of those issues, Wally Dallenbach.
It's a challenge for the drivers because, like I said, the track is very fast. There used to be bumps up in 3 and 4. There used to be a very wide groove here. You could run right up at the top. We don't have that yet. So the cars are having to go down in the corner about halfway up the racetrack to the bottom. So when a car goes side by side, if you're on the bottom, you lose the aerodynamics on your car, which wants to make the car either spin out or actually takes the downforce off the nose. Sometimes you'll slide up the racetrack into the guy above you. So you got to be careful. You can't get away from a guy that's just so fast around here, BP.
The speed this year versus last year, 4.5 miles per hour faster. We normally see some extra speed each year, but 4.5 miles per hour is extraordinarily fast.
And tires are a huge concern here, BP. You did some work on that in the garage earlier today.
I talked to the Goodyear folks that supplies the tires for these cars, and this speed caught them by surprise. They tried to take the tires right to the limit as far as grip is concerned, but this extra speed carried them over the top. And last night we had all kinds of problems. Jimmy Johnson last night, he goes down in turn 1, the right front tire goes flat, and this is what happens when the right front goes flat. There's no control over the car. In the wall you go. And
when that happens, when you're going down in the corner as a driver, you can do nothing. You're along for the ride. You just brace yourself because you're going to hit a ton. It's 195 plus miles per hour down into the corners here.
Take a look at the championship standings heading into tonight's race. The chase for the Nextel Cup Championship hits the halfway mark with this event at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Tony Stewart is the championship leader, 75 points ahead of Ryan Newman. But the logjam is from Ryan Newman back to Matt Kenseth, just 41 points.
And you're able to gain around 150 points in one race.
The maximum points amount you can gain in one race is 156. Jeremy Mayfield and Kurt Busch, those are the 10 drivers that are eligible for the Nextel Cup Championship. Stewart is a past winner here. Johnson and the 48 car has won the last 3 races at this track and 4 of the last 5. Let's take you down to pit road, get some stories from there, beginning with Dave Burns.
And Bill, you talked about championship leader Tony Stewart. Well, his last few weeks here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway have been very interesting. During testing a couple of weeks ago, he crashed 2 different cars. But you always learn something when you do that. Last night in the Busch Series race, the championship leader in this series nearly finished the race ahead of Ryan Newman, trying to pass him for the lead late in the race. He got into trouble and wrecked his race car, crashed again. So Tony Stewart has learned a lot about what he can do here and about what he can't do here. Matt?
Mark Martin told me earlier tonight that although we're in Charlotte, it's more like Talladega. This could be the biggest deck shuffler that's left as far as races go in the chase. Tonight, it's all about survival, looking at all the teams that had tire issues last night. He says there's so much that's out of your hands here tonight, it's more like a restrictor plate race. He is currently running 7th. Marty Snyder.
Well, Matt, Jimmy Johnson calls this his house, the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Obviously, he is sponsored by Lowe's as well. He just came on the pit road for fuel only. The reason he did that is because he started at the back of the field tonight. Officially, 41st is where he took the green flag from. He has won from back there before. In May of 2002, he won from 37th. All the way back there and made his way through the field. Jimmy told me it will be treacherous getting through the field tonight, but my plan, stay very patient early in the race and then go for it at the end of the race. This race last year sparked a streak where he won 4 of final 6 races in the 2004 season. Alan Bestwick.
Ryan Newman leads the race right now. He is second in the championship coming into the night, and Ryan won that crash-filled preliminary here at Charlotte a night ago. It was not a night without its troubles, though. Ryan also suffering from some of the tire problems that plagued last night's race and that many expect to crop up throughout tonight's race. The question tonight for Ryan and the other 9 drivers chasing the championship: which of them do tire troubles strike? How does it affect their finish in this race? Does it hurt their chance to win a championship a few weeks from now? Bill?
Thanks, Alan. You guys enjoy the race down there. There have been 93 races here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway for the Nextel Cup Series. 45 of them have been won by a guy that started in the first 2 rows. Wally, you talked about guys trying to use that inside groove to pass. Last night, 1/3 of the race was run under caution because of incidents like this.
Yeah, Stewart tried to go on the bottom side of Newman on the restart. There's just no grip. And the biggest problem is with the cars, you start to lose the tail end of a car here. You can't catch it. Once it goes, it goes really fast. So it's tough.
Here are the cars that crashed out of the race last night.
And a huge list of them.
And you can see Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, Greg Biffle, Jeremy Mayfield are all drivers in the chase for the Nextel Cup Championship that ran in the Busch race here last night. There were 14 cautions, 19 cars failed to finish of the 43 that started, 67 caution laps, 100 miles, 1/3 of the race. And there is a similar concern that we could see incidents like that here tonight. Pace vehicle to pit road. Ryan Newman brings them back to the green, completing lap 7. NBC Sports Live at the Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Casey Mears slide up out of the groove there in 1 and 2. He's going to lose a few spots. Mark Martin going underneath him.
Mark in the 6. Carl Edwards in the 99.
Mark slides up the racetrack a little bit. He doesn't have the grip, and he really slides. Almost went 3 wide.
Matt Yoakum on Mark Martin.
Bill, under that caution, Mark Martin was telling Pat Trice, his crew chief, my car is just so much faster than the 41 of Mears in the corners. I'm having to play it a little more conservative, but he was concerned about his teammate Carl Edwards in the 99. He was a little higher on the racetrack in his mirror. He was concerned possibly about taking some of that air off that spoiler like we saw happen to some cars last night, which then they just went around and backed it into the wall.
That's it. Edwards in the 99. Carl ran here in May in the 600-mile race. And Alan, that was his first complete race here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Yeah, Bill, driver has done a remarkable job in his first full season on the circuit, contending for the championship despite his lack of experience. He has a veteran spotter, Bobby Hudson, who is constantly on the radio from atop the grandstand, coaching Carl, trying to keep him calm. Carl says, I'm a rookie. I still tend to do things sometimes that might upset the guys I'm racing with. Bobby's his eye in the sky, trying to keep him under control, keep his ambitions in check.
Carl Edwards, one of the 10 drivers in the chase for the Nextel Cup Championship. And as Alan said, spectacular season for the driver of that 99 machine. Following the veteran Mark Martin. Martin the winner last week at Kansas.
I'm told that Joe Nemechek in the 01 car might have touched the wall coming off turn 4 just a moment ago, and just barely. Might not have even touched it, but he got so close, he got to some bumps and looked like he might have bottomed out.
There's Nemechek. Martin right behind him, and then his teammate Edwards.
Looks like Jeff Gordon's wanting to go. Gordon looks like he's got a pretty decent car. He gets right up on the back bumper of the 41 car, gets him loose, and now he's got the spot.
Dave Burns.
24 car of Jeff Gordon just a little bit loose as well at the start, but quicker than the 41. Guys told me the car was very good
almost had the pass pulled off, and then they went in there side by side, and that's the thing. Jeff had to get out of the throttle just
Dave
to crack
out of the
it.
41.
And the problem is, he lost a couple spots.
Carl Edwards trying to get by on the outside. Martin tried to follow Jeff Gordon, and he lost 2 spots. Carl Edwards got by. Also, Kyle Busch in the 5 car got by Martin in the 6.
Dave, what do you want to get in about the 41?
Yeah, Bill, just that he can run that high line. Casey Mears told me right before the start, I really like the lower line better for the speed of my car, but it operates well on that high side. And you saw how he held off Jeff Gordon on that last lap.
Live NASCAR Nextel Cup racing from the Lowe's Motor Speedway outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, presented by the Principal Financial Group here on NBC.
And see, Gordon was stuck down there in the bottom line. He finally got in line, but he was losing a lot of spots down there because his car was so loose on the bottom.
The 16 of Greg Biffle, the 17 of Matt Kenseth, 2 more of the guys in the chase. Marty Snyder.
Talked to Biffle before he got in the car, Bill, and he told me he was concerned about tonight's race. Not necessarily his safety, but what might happen out of his control. Tires, obviously a big issue. We've talked about that in yesterday's Busch Series race, and Biffle had one go down on his race car. He said, my plan, first half of the race, take it easy and rein myself in a little bit. Doug Richard Discrucci said, that's my job. I have to keep him calm for the first half of the race and then unleash him in the last half.
You see Biffle trying to get by the 24 car of Jeff Gordon. Could not make the pass. That's Kevin LePage in 66 directly in front of Jeff Gordon.
Oh, thought Gordon was going to get blocked up there.
Biffle in the 16 and Kenseth in that 17. They are teammates. Drive for Roush Racing. Roush has 5 cars in the 10-race chase for the Nextel Cup Championship. Gordon in that inside groove.
Really difficult to make a pass down there.
We want to tell you that Jimmy Johnson has moved his way up to 29th. Started 41st because of the engine change. Pitted under the first caution. Restarted near the end of the field and has worked his way up into the top 30.
And you see the 8 car, the red car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. right behind Greg Biffle. He's currently running 16th, and he started 28th.
And watching him, BP, he's been passing a lot of cars since the start of the race. Pretty fast, Dave.
They were very, very happy with this race car, especially after practice 1 on Saturday. That was when Junior was near the highest on the chart, and he came in smiling, telling the guys, we've got a fast race car this weekend, boys. Marty?
Matt Kenseth told me this morning, Dave, the 2 keys to this race, patience and tire conservation. You may see Matt hang back around 20th position for most of the first half of this race. And he said later in the race, that's when I'll go. He, too, had a problem in yesterday's Busch Series race, but not a tire. They had a mechanical failure in that race. And he said the load on these cars in the middle of the corner with these speeds that we're running is just unbelievable, unheard of, he said last night.
And Marty talked about the speeds. The front row of Elliott Sadler and Ryan Newman broke the old track record here, qualifying at an average speed over 193 miles an hour.
A mile and 1/2 racetrack.
There's Jimmy Johnson in the 48.
Looks right around. I mean, you can see how fast these cars are going around this racetrack. Jimmy Johnson trying to work the low side right now.
Down the backstretch.
Carry a lot of speed into turn 3 here. We'll watch his car go down. Looks like his car, actually, car's probably pushing a little bit, but see that throttle, he's on the throttle a long, long time.
Double dog leg along the front stretch here. Then into turn 1. Marty?
I was just going to tell Wally, he acts like he's a race car driver. He's a pretty smart guy because, guess what? Jimmy Johnson's car, tight, won't turn, as you said, Wally, pushing.
And that's probably good this part of the race right now.
Elliott Sadler under Ryan Newman for the lead. Sadler started on the Budweiser pole and now has moved his way back to the front. Dave Burns.
Bill, his team told me before the start of the race, if Ryan Newman jumps out there, we're not going to pressure him until we really feel like our car has come around. We don't want to abuse our tires. We saw problems with that last night when we ran the Busch Series race. And now Elliott, now that his car is very comfortable, has shot back by the 12.
23 laps are complete here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Our thanks to NASCAR. They held up the start of this race, so we'd be with you for the green flag following the completion of the Notre Dame USC game. And we welcome all of you football fans that have joined us for this racing action tonight from the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Tony Stewart under Ryan Newman for second place. They're all chasing Elliott Sadler. NBC Sports live at the Lowe's Motor Speedway outside of Charlotte for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. NASCAR Nextel Cup Series racing from the Lowe's Motor Speedway live on NBC, presented by the Principal Financial Group. 27 laps are complete, and we've already had a development concerning one of the chasers. Ryan Newman has been on and off of pit road for a tire issue.
Also, Kevin LePage in the 66 car that you saw running so well has been on and on the racetrack. Alan, how about Ryan Newman? What was his problem?
Right front tire had a big chunk out of it, Benny. That you see the crew there. They just finished looking over it now, checking the depth marks on the front of the tire. They're still working on it, but on the bottom side of that, there's a big chunk missing from that right front.
And NASCAR realizes they have some tire problems here. They are going to throw a caution flag in a couple more laps and let these guys make a pit stop if they choose to and check these tires out. And I'm pretty sure that everyone will choose to.
They told teams in the drivers' meeting earlier today a mandatory caution around lap 30. This is Tony Stewart in the 20, chasing Elliott Sadler for the lead. Stewart's going to try it. This is where he lost it last night in the Busch race.
I think Elliott's going to give him the spot. These guys, there's no reason to run really, really hard with each other as far as going through, especially in 3 and 4, especially this early in the race, and you know a caution's coming out here.
And that was lap 30, so I would expect as soon as all the cars cross the start-finish line, hopefully we'll see the caution flag, because I'm telling you, these guys need to check everything out.
We also had 4 laps of caution earlier in the race, so that lap 30 number can fluctuate a little bit. And now it is out. It's a competition caution put out by NASCAR so teams can inspect their tires and make the changes. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has raced his way forward from 28th to 10th. Jimmy Johnson from 41st to 20th. Ryan Newman, who was on pit road under green, is the lucky dog. First car scored off the lead lap. He will be allowed to come around, make up his lap.
And Mike Wallace in the 4 car has gone to the garage area, so he could be the first car out tonight.
There's Ryan Newman. He gets the ballpark Lucky Dog Award. He gets to make up a lap. Huge break for Ryan.
But a smart move on his part to go ahead and make that pit stop and get that bad tire off, take care of the problem.
Record number of cautions in the 300-mile Busch race held here last night. 500 miles tonight for the Nextel Cup Series.
And as these cars come off the corner, the pit road is going to be open. And folks, we're going to see about 40 cars on pit road changing tires, getting fuel.
Matt Yoakum.
Kurt Busch knows tonight is a huge night, deep in the points, has to have a big maximum points kind of night. The car, a tick on the tight side, but he wants to look ahead later. They're going to really free this race car up. To Snyder.
Eighth place man in the championship, Matt Kenseth, in that 17 car, bottom of your screen, running 11th on the racetrack. So the balance is perfect, make no changes to the car. Alan.
Top of the screen, Tony Stewart, who led a lap, collected bonus points toward the championship. A 4-tire change. They also made an adjustment to the bar that aligns the rear end. Dave?
Elliott Sadler said his car was just a little bit tough to turn in the middle of the corner. Slight air pressure adjustment on one of the front tires, and pushing out a little bit of water from the right front side, just underneath the right front of the window there for the 38. He wins the race off pit road.
Very close. Elliott Sadler and Tony Stewart racing off of pit road. Crew cam, BP.
DJ Richardson, rear tire changer on the 2 car. Tires off. 5 lug nuts tight. Let's go around the left side. They're all off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go.
Now, this week's Bank of America Higher Standards moment.
Jimmy Johnson on the outside, side by side, and down to the stripe. Jimmy Johnson will win by a half a car length. That's right, my house. Woo-hoo-hoo! Our house in the middle of our street. Our house
because of the length of the football game, didn't have time to bring you the Bank of America countdown to green, but we'll be back with that next week when we all head to Martinsville. And our thanks to our friends at Bank of America. On board with Jimmy Johnson. Won the last 3 races here for the last 5. Race fans, visit LowesRacing.com today for your chance to win up to $48,000 in the When Jimmy Wins, You Win sweepstakes. Just visit LowesRacing.com for more details.
You know, a little bit concerned about the leader there, Elliott Sadler. When he came out of the pits, he was pushing water out of the overflow, which Dave mentioned as well. Which means, obviously, it was hot. The engine was running hot. That's pretty early to be running hot, Dave.
I'm still scrambling for some answers, Wally. Is it possible when you overfill that it can overflow like that? Because that's the first answer I got, but they might be being cryptic. I don't know.
Yeah, that is possible. Yep.
Yes, I mean, their water is going to expand when it gets so hot, and if it's too full, it's going to come out the overflow.
Ryan Newman, who was the lucky dog, restarted 40th. Jeremy Mayfield runs the Chasers back in 39th. Jimmy Johnson 18th after starting 41st.
This is intense stuff right here, boy. On the restarts, cars are side by side, and guys are really having to be careful.
Junior in the 8. Kyle Busch in that 5-car update from Matt.
He learned a lot in the Busch race last night, Bill, but a mechanical issue didn't allow him to run all the way to conclusion. So he didn't learn all that he wanted, but he did learn one thing, how hard you can push your tires early on. He is flying. As you can see, he has moved up about 1.5 lanes, preferring to run the high side right now.
And speaking of pushing, looked like Earnhardt Jr. was pushing the back of the 16. Yeah, but you can have a fast car. You just can't make the pass on the bottom. And now Junior's going to lose a couple of spots because he's down on the bottom.
Dave Blaney going by. Jamie McMurray in the 42 car. There's Blaney in the 07 on board with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And Junior's still on the bottom of the racetrack. And you just simply can't go up and run into someone and knock them out of the way because they're also going to crash you.
The Junior lost about 3 or 4 spots, and he was actually trying to make a pass on Busch or Biffle.
Battle for the 6th position between Joe Nemechek, 01, and Jeff Gordon, 24. Gordon's looking real racy tonight.
It just doesn't say. I mean, he hasn't been able to pull out the pass down on the bottom unless the guy on the high side gives him a break like Nemechek just did getting into turn 3.
But look at Nemechek come back on that high groove.
Allen.
Well, the right rear tire that just came off Joe Nemechek's car, Bill, blisters on it as we see a change for second place. Kurt Busch by Tony Stewart. Joe told me before the race he was going to be extremely cautious tonight. He thought this was going to be a survival contest.
And now he might be right, Alan. We'll see as this plays out. Long way to go. Matt on Mark.
Lost a little bit of time, Bill, on his pit stop. Some lugs fell off when they were changing the right rear tire. Mark was concerned about the possible blistering issues. Pat Tryson told him, we had one small blister on our car, the 97 of Busch. They had a blister, but as you can see, the car behind him, the 16 Snyder, that's what Mark was also concerned about. What do their tires look like?
Well, about 6 laps before the mandatory caution, Matty came on the radio, Greg Biffle, and said, you know what, we have a tire going down on the right side. They said, you know, back off, save it until the mandatory caution. We'll see what happened. Indeed, the right rear tire was chunked and blistered, and it was losing air pressure. Well-timed mandatory caution for Greg Biffle in that 16 car.
I'll tell you what, BB, that's not good because in another 30 or 35 laps, if we don't have a caution, we're going to see guys starting to have tire problems and get into the wall.
And these cars can run 60, 70 laps on fuel, so fuel is not an issue, but that's why we're going to see so many caution flags tonight is because of a tire problem. Matt?
BP, and that was Mark Martin's big concern as well, because during final practice, tire issues, they didn't surface. They were planning on making this car a good long-run car, and it was very stout. But Mark is concerned if we have a lot of cautions, he could really be at a hindrance trying to get that car up to the front.
Elliott Sadler up front, got the Budweiser Pole Award, his 4th pole of 2005. We'll see him in the Bud Shootout when we get to Daytona in 2006. Sadler leads Busch, Stewart, Bobby Labonte, and Casey Mears at Charlotte.
NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing from Lowe's Motor Speedway, presented by the Principal Financial Group, is brought to you by Principal Financial Group. We'll give you an edge. By Subway Restaurants and the American Red Cross. Together we can help. By Lowe's, where you'll find all your home improvement needs. Lowe's, where improving home improvement never ends. And by Wrangler, makers of Wrangler Jeans Company, a new generation of Wrangler.
Dismal second half of the season continues for former series champion Jeff Gordon. Just got hard into the wall and is being pushed back to the garage.
These guys are racing off before, and BP, we talked about it. They're racing close. They lose the air off their car, and that looks like what happened to Gordon. He just started sliding up the racetrack. There was no downforce on his car, running close to Bobby Labonte. Couldn't turn it.
And you can see a lot of damage to that car. It also broke the brake rotor. Anytime that right front tire hits the wall that hard, it breaks the rotor so that he has no brakes.
Gordon won the Daytona 500, has 3 wins this season, but has struggled since the 1st of May. Got a 10th place finish last week, but a disappointing season for him continues tonight here at Lowe's, where he is a 4-time winner. Elliott Sadler up front. Started on the pole, has led 26 of the 51 laps. He ran the Busch race here last night and had a very strong car in that race.
You know, his crew chief, Todd Parrott, I don't know, 3 or 4 races ago, the owners decided to take him and put him over with Dale Jarrett, the 88 car. And they upgraded the engineer, Kevin Buskirk, to crew chief, interim crew chief for this 38 car. And I keep telling Kevin, you're going to work yourself into a job if you aren't careful. That's crew chief. You know, I'm not a crew chief. I'm just filling in till we get one. Well, he's doing a great job filling in.
Our AutoZone in the zone drivers this season: Rusty Wallace, Greg Biffle, Carl Edwards, 3 drivers in the chase for the Nextel Cup. Edwards has had a spectacular season in his first full year in the Nextel Cup Series. Joined this race in progress a year ago after running the truck race in Texas. Got here late. Had to put Dave Blaney in the car to get it started. Let's get a report from Dave Burns back in the garage.
The 24 car has been pushed all the way back here now to the garage area by his crew. They will go to work on the right side. You guys mentioned the right front brake rotor was broken. They asked if they wanted the entire assembly from the right front. They may go get that as well. All the way back to the garage, they were discussing how the car was handling, and crew chief Steve Letarte ended the conversation by saying, "This is great information. We will be fast at Texas." We'll try to get a word from Jeff when he hops out of the car.
Thanks, Dave. Gordon not in the chase for the Nextel Cup Championship, but is in that battle to try and finish 11th in the championship standings. Get back out, get some more points, but this will really hurt those chances.
Every position that he can gain from where he is now till the end of the race, 3 points per position. He can pick up 10 spots. That's 30 points. And with all we saw last night, 10 spots, it could be easy.
So those guys will work hard in the garage to try and get Jeff back out on the track. He'll have to meet the minimum speed. The 48 of Jimmy Johnson started 41st, has worked his way to 13th, now 12th. Wow. Marty, how about those guys?
Well, as we talked about, the car was tight, meaning it doesn't want to turn. So when they came down pit road, they pulled a spring rubber from the left rear spring. That should loosen Jimmy's car up. He took on 4 tires, but when they pulled him off, the right rear was fairly severely blistered. They radioed that information to Jimmy, and he said, you know what? I want to go up on all the air pressures if we can do that. And a lot of teams have talked about keeping more air pressure in the tires than they normally do. Jimmy said, I want to do that on our next stop.
Evidently, he's starting to feel something in this 48 car now, because he's starting to back up. He waved the 15 car, Michael Waltrip, by.
Michael, go ahead, Bobby.
I was just going to say, if you're already loose, when a car gets up behind you, it makes it 10 times as loose. So if he's in that position, you point him by, let him go. This way you get more clean air on your car to help push it in the racetrack.
And he had a really hard hit here last night. So if he feels something in that car, he's probably going to think twice about it a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to think twice about it. I think definitely you got to
wait. I can run harder, but wait till I get my next progress report here.
There you go. I could go harder, but let's check the tires one more time, see how they're doing before I try that.
Got to listen to your butt, Bill.
Yes, you do, sir.
Especially around this racetrack, you're going so fast. If you feel something wrong with that race car at these speeds, you know it's telling you something. You don't second guess it.
And I tell you what, Tony Stewart, after they run about 25 laps, he is just so much faster. His car just keeps getting faster and faster versus the competition.
Tony Stewart to the lead. 5 bonus points for Tony. Sadler to second. Former winner at this track. 13 starts here for Tony Stewart. A win, 9 top 10s. Back to Dave.
With Jeff Gordon right now. Jeff, I heard you talking about I can't pass up there. Was it the high line that got you?
Well, actually what happened was Casey Mears made a pass, or was trying to make a pass on Bobby Labonte, and I wanted to, you got to take advantage of the high line because usually guys get slowed down on the bottom and the momentum's on the outside, and so I tried to get as close to Bobby Labonte as I could come up before, and when those two cars came together, it just took every bit of air off my car that was there, and it just went straight in the wall. And the speeds are really fast out there, obviously, and it's very, very difficult to pass. So, we got in the wall. We'll try to fix it, get back out there, but not going to be a very good night for the DuPont Chevrolet. Unfortunately, it was awesome right before that.
Thanks, Jeff. Tricky track tonight, guys.
BP, we talked about around 30 laps, these guys were going to start having problems, and it's about 30 laps since we've gone green, and Junior blows a right front tire.
Didn't even get to 30 laps. Under 30. Dale Earnhardt Jr. bringing out the caution.
And I tell you what, there's no joy at the Lowe's Motor Speedway because he is the crowd favorite here. His hometown just a few miles away. There you see Biffle on the inside and goes down to turn 1, and oh my goodness, that tire just exploded.
It's just, and like I said, you're along for the ride when that happens. Always seems to blow going into the corners too.
Whoa. Robbie Gordon blew a tire here last night that sounded like a
Heaven went off.
Yes, exactly right.
I'm sorry, BP.
Greg Biffle's lucky he chose that moment to be on the inside.
Junior had a very good race car tonight. He was really cutting his way through traffic.
On board with Dale Earnhardt Jr. as the right front tire blows.
Just take a listen. Happens pretty fast.
Hey guys, blew right front. You okay, man?
Marty Snyder.
Well, you see the right front fender for Matt Kenseth. He was running 5th. He said, I got a flat tire right when Junior did, and they were worried about this exactly right here, tearing up the fender well. Matt's been trying to go as slow as he possibly could, but it's still tore it up anyway. He's coming to pit road, and pit road is not open, so that'll be a penalty. Plus, they'll have a damaged right front fender that they'll have to fix with tape and maybe some sheet metal.
3rd in the championship standings.
I was just going to say, he didn't tear it up too bad, Marty. They can fix that with tape, unless that tire really comes apart and starts taking off your brake lines and things like that. I think he'll get away with that because I think they can fix that.
Over the roar of the crowd and the roar of the cars, when Robbie Gordon's tire blew last night, the 3 of us jumped. That's how loud the sound was, and you can imagine what it would feel like being in that car.
And Robbie was lucky. He had a rear tire blow, but it blew on the straightaway.
Marty?
And Robbie Reiser agrees with Wally. He said it's not as bad as you think over the radio to Matt, saying we can fix this with what we have. It's going to be tape fixed, and they're going to fix it the next time around. 4 brand new tires here. They're going to bring them in next time and fix the fender. As you said, Bill, 3rd in the championship. They had a very fast car for tonight, and they were one of the ones being patient, and they still had a right front go down.
Finished 5th last week at Kansas.
This is just a bad pattern because we're seeing it happen under 30 laps, and we got a lot of racing to go, and now every driver in the field is thinking about blowing a right front tire. They just hope it's not their turn.
That was 28 laps of green flag racing, the field coming to pit road.
And why did Tony Stewart stay on the racetrack?
Matt.
And a close call for the tire carrier for the 97 as Mark Martin went by. They're going to make a slight chassis adjustment. Kurt is concerned of getting the car too free over this next run to Snyder.
Well, Greg Biffle said, I love the chassis, but I am so worried about tires, guys. And like many of the teams on pit road, go up on air pressure on all the tires. Dave.
Elliott Sadler being very patient. No tire issues on the last run. They will make a 4th tire change. No chassis adjustments for the 38. He will try to lead him off pit road, clean the grill, and he does. Alan.
miscommunication for Tony Stewart. They were having a discussion on the radio about the handling of the car when he came to the spot on pit road where he had to pit. The spotter, Mark Robertson, was trying to tell Tony to pit. Ryan Newman took a fuel can with him from his pit stall, but Tony could not hear him because he was talking. That's why he did not pit. A big mistake there.
But they're going to come in, aren't they, Alan? They got to come in.
I took my ears off that to watch Ryan Newman leave with the fuel can, Wally, but I believe they will. Yes, they have to.
You're right. I mean, they got to come in.
There's Greg Zipadelli, his crew chief, Jimmy Makar from Joe Gibbs Racing. The 12 will have to come back to pit road, bring that thing back if it hangs on. Stop and go penalty for Ryan under caution at the Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Junior's on the pole.
Well, it's not exactly what you're thinking. You see, he's actually on the South Pole thanks to our newest Nextel Fan of the Week presented by Sprint, Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Randy Buckner. Now, Randy, why was this flag flying over the South Pole?
Every time I deploy, I take a little piece of NASCAR with me, and I had the opportunity to go to the South Pole and took the opportunity to fly this flag there.
So how do you celebrate NASCAR? Well, tell us about it. Log on to NASCAR.com/Nextel.
The field coming to the green, and Randy will be pleased to know that Dale Earnhardt Jr. is okay. Junior, did you feel a tire problem building, or did it just go instantaneously?
It just went bam and hit the wall. It's pretty loud, but I'm okay. Luckily, it happened on the straightaway, and I had a great car though, man. Tony Jr., man, that thing was flying. We was gonna have a great night, and I'm just excited about next week now, but shoot, that car was flying. Just it's a shame, brand new car, and we was gonna test it this weekend in Atlanta, but we had great cars. Too bad.
You can see though the positive smile on his face. He knows things are starting to turn.
Thanks, Matt. Elliott Sadler leads on the restart. Just to update a couple of drivers, Tony Stewart did come to pit road, restarted 35th. Ryan Newman had to come back, stop and go penalty, restarted 38th.
Tell you what, 97 Kyle Busch is loose. That's twice in the last couple corners that car got real loose when he got in there.
You saw that? I'm sorry.
That's it.
Matt Kenseth in the 17 car, another one of the championship chasers, one lap down. Back in 40th. Marty on Biffle.
Well, we just talked about Greg Biffle's pit stop when he did come to pit road, Bill, and currently they are in second place. The chassis is fine, but when they pulled off that tire, another right rear that was blistered, and this is what Biffle had to say on the radio.
It runs over something on the racetrack, like sealer or whatever. It'll just take off. The nose will just take off like I got a flat, like a chunk come out of the tire, and I got a flat. I don't understand. Guys, we're not racing for win right here. We're racing to finish. That's it. Just whatever we can do to survive tonight. That's all we're here for. Because a lot of guys aren't going to get to finish.
And that's a shame, but what else can these guys do? If they go out and run that car as hard as they can, they're going to blow a tire in 30 laps. If their competitors don't and stay out there, they're going to lose.
All you hope as a competitor, it's just not you. You hope when the caution comes out, it's somebody else before it happens to you, because every driver's thinking about it right now. There's not a whole lot. You can back off a little bit, but there's going to be guys that aren't going to back off and start losing those spots.
And they've been thinking about it not just for hours or days, but for weeks, because there was a tremendous amount of concern about this racing surface going back to testing and even before that, Benny.
Testing is when they found out what kind of problem they had. They come in here, Tony Stewart, Greg Biffle, the 20 and 16, both those cars wrecked two cars during practice. And they found out just how slick the racetrack it was.
But they knew how slick and how much grip there was, but they didn't know there was a tire issue then.
They didn't find that out until last night, really.
Right. Alan on Tony Stewart.
Yeah, Bill, just to follow up on Tony Stewart, in the past he's had a reputation for being, let's say just tempered, where something like what just happened to him on the racetrack would upset him. Tony's been the one on the radio cheering up his pit crew, saying, okay, look at it this way. We can go a lap farther on fuel than those other guys can now.
And you can do that, and it helps you do that when you've got as good a race car as Tony does. I mean, Tony's got a very, very fast race car. He's picked his way through traffic all day long. He's up to 28th spot already, so he's got time on his side, and he's got a good car.
The one concern, though, is being back in the field when you don't know what's going to happen with those guys in front of you.
Look at all this. I mean, he's back in all this heavy traffic that you never know what's going to happen.
Hey, they were wrecking at the front of the Busch race last night.
Yeah,
so.
true. That's true. Trying to pass for the lead.
Yeah.
In fact, that was Tony himself. Again, this track was levigated, or basically they grind the track down. It is much smoother and faster than it has been in the past. Stewart behind Rusty Wallace. Meanwhile, Matt Kenseth, another championship contender, back to pit road. Marty.
And Bill, the problems are not cured for the 8th place man in championship standings. Matt Kenseth coming back to pit road, as you said. The fix that they did to the right front did not work. There still is a fender rub on the right front. Matt said, I'm going to cut this tire, guys. We have got to get this fixed. So they're going to come in, knock it up, actually, away from the tire, and then try to put a piece of tape on top of the right front fender as well at the same time. So a lot of fixes here. They're going to go down more laps here for the 17 team.
Marty, it was cut. The right front was down when he came into this pit box.
Yep, you see it right there, Wally. It was indeed cut. Big cut.
And Ryan Newman, remember, he drug his gas can around the racetrack. Alan, he's back in 34th.
And Benny, the reason for that, another miscommunication. It was a 2-tire pit stop. Ryan took off. The fuel man couldn't get the can disengaged. They had to come back in for the penalty, so then they went and changed the other tires as well. He's got a lot of track position to make up again tonight.
Newman back in 34th, Mayfield 35th, Kenseth struggling. Elliott Sadler strong last night, strong tonight, trying to get a win on the home field at Charlotte. Feel the race like never before in 360 degrees of full surround sound. Get ready to hear the big picture, because the only way to experience the full impact of HD is with NBC Sports and Sony HD Audio. Elliott Sadler up front at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing presented by the Principal Financial Group.
And we see Matt Kenseth has just now come back on the racetrack. He is being shown 12 laps behind.
There's Biffle in second. Kurt Busch runs third. The drivers in yellow on the ticker at the top of the screen. The 10 drivers in the chase for the Nextel Cup.
And Jimmy Johnson has brought that 48 car back to the 5th position.
Mark Martin is behind this group in that 6th car. There's Johnson leading that pack.
See, Michael Waltrip at the 15 car in the middle of that pack. A good run going for him tonight.
Our Chevy drivers to watch. Their best Charlotte finishes.
Well, a couple of those guys are off the list already.
Yep. Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And this is where these guys are about within the next 10 or 15 laps. We'll keep our fingers crossed, because got a lot of green flag. We'll get to that 30 mark. That's the number we're all worried about.
We're looking, you can see the laps at the top of the screen, lap 88. We're looking for trouble around lap 97. Snyder?
Yeah, Bill, a great run for Sterling Marlin. You see him on the outside of Michael Waltrip. Started 30th tonight. Currently Sterling, I believe, in the 9th position. Car handling very well. And on the last 2 stops, they've made no changes to the chassis. And all 4 tires each time just look perfect.
On board with Sterling. Coors Light Dodge. Dave Blaney in the 07.
These guys are giving each other a lot of space right now on the racetrack. We were talking about their break. It's like a Darlington race where you don't want to run each other so hard until this thing settle down and make sure that everything is okay. There's no need for it. But everybody's giving a lot of respect to each other right now.
This is the pattern that we've seen every time. Elliott Sadler gets out to about a 3 or 4 second lead, and then in about 15 laps he starts coming back to the field. Dave, what's he saying? Anything?
BP, I want to tell you a little story about Elliott Sadler. Last night on his pit box in the Busch race were 2 gentlemen. The first guy on the right, Kevin Buskirk, team engineer, and on the left, Raymond Fox. Raymond was the crew chief. Tonight, their roles are reversed. Last night on their very first pit stop, they had a blistered right rear tire. They together decided on an adjustment to take care care of that. They had no tire problems the remainder of the night, and that was used on this particular car tonight. They know how to keep the tires under the 38 tonight.
I hope you're right, Dave.
Elliott Sadler has led 59 of the 90 laps so far. Get to 30 laps at about lap 97. We'll be watching to see what happens. NASCAR Live on NBC.
NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing from Lowe's Motor Speedway, presented by the Principal Financial Group, is brought to you by Coca-Cola. Make it real. By Sony. Transform the way you watch NASCAR with Sony, the world's greatest high-definition television. By Bank of America, higher standards. And by UPS, the official express delivery company of NASCAR. UPS, we're going to race the truck. People love the truck.
We talked about trouble coming out as we closed in on lap 97. Didn't get there. 28 laps of green. And Bobby Hamilton Jr. in that 32 car.
One guy took the hit, and there's 39 guys sighing a breath of relief. Here you go. On the right, tire goes down and hard to the wall.
That's what Dale Earnhardt Jr. was talking about. At least when his right front tire exploded, it did it on the straightaway, so he didn't have far to go. And here they all come down pit road with Hamilton in the middle of pit road.
Trying to get out of the way. Matt Yoakum.
He goes into the garage. Now Kurt Busch concerned about the car being too loose, then getting more wear in that right rear. And that's exactly what happened. The car was too free. They're going to tighten it up. 4-tire change, sticker tires, brand new on the car again. Snyder.
Matt, on the last run, Greg Biffle in the middle of your screen on that 16 car had sticker brand new tires. That's what he wants this time as well. No changes to the chassis. Very happy with how it's handling. Dave?
Top of your screen, Elliott Sadler. He said, I wouldn't change it this time, even though he reported that it was a little tighter on this run. 4 tires. Alan.
Tony Stewart raced from 35th up to 16th in that last run of the race. They're making a 4-tire change. Looks like they're having some troubles on the left side. A little bit of a long stop there. Not going to gain him any track position now.
Biffle got him.
Greg Biffle leading the parade off of pit road. Stuart Kirby will be the lucky dog. Take a look at the race off of pit road. There's Biffle in the 16, Elliott Sadler in the 38, then Kurt Busch. While we were in that last commercial break, Biffle got a wave by from Elliott Sadler for the lead, got his 5 bonus points, then settled back in behind Sadler. So we're under the 4th caution period of the night here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Rusty Wallace making career start number 701. Ties him for 9th on the all-time list with Buddy Baker. His crew working hard on pit road, trying to get him some more points. He's one of those guys in the chase for the Nextel Cup Championship. Still under caution in the UAW-GM Quality 500 Lowe's Motor Speedway. Take a look at our Coke family of drivers. Greg Biffle won the race off of pit road. He's got Elliott Sadler right behind him. Kurt Busch, another one of the chasers.
Not too bad for the Koch family.
Yep. Marty?
Well, Bill, we've been talking about these blistered tires. This is the 3rd set of blistered right rear tires that have come off Greg Biffle's car. And check it out. It's all the way on the outside, all the way around on this right rear tire. They took it off. Doug Richard, his crew chief, said, this one's blistered as well. And Biffle said, I don't know what to tell you, man. I took it as easy as I could. I pushed it 1 lap. That's when I passed Elliott Sadler. Other than that, I've been taking it easy on these tires, and they're still coming off blistered. I don't have any idea what I can do differently from behind the wheel.
Marty, do you have the lap count? It's 28 green flag laps. Is that what?
That is 28 on this tire, Bill. Exactly correct.
So when we go back to green, we'll be looking for the 28th green flag lap, because that's what we ran both times. Jeremy Mayfield, one of the chasers, stayed out to lead a lap. Robbie Gordon brought out the first caution on lap 4. Ryan Newman had trouble. Earnhardt Jr. hit the wall. Matt Kenseth, Bobby Hamilton Jr. bringing out the most recent caution.
I have a feeling that's going to be a long list tonight.
And I talked to the Goodyear engineer and said, you know, what can you do about that? And there's very little they can do except maybe put a used tire on the rear, a tire that has 15 or 20 laps and is cool.
Our Craftsman pit summary. There you see Biffle beat Sadler off of pit road. Kurt came out 3rd. Same position he entered pit road.
And what you're talking about, BP, is they put a heat cycle on the tire that actually makes the tire, it's like it cures it.
Right.
And it makes it a little bit more durable.
Hearing that the tires off the 97 were good. 1 small blister on the tires off of Mark Martin's car. Guys, go ahead.
The guy back in fourth spot, Jamie McMurray, started 29th, and here's running in fourth spot. So looks like he's got something good going for him tonight.
Uh-oh, that's Jimmy Johnson.
That is Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, he got out of the way quick there. Like,
did he spin the tire
or something? Yeah.
Was going to restart set in the 7th position in that 48 car after working his way up from 41st starting spot.
Did not get a good restart at all, but he jumped out of the way pretty quick.
Sadler, Biffle.
And we've seen all night, Sadler's car's pretty good off the get-go. Gets 15 laps, it's a rocket.
Kurt Busch, yep.
And I think Biffle is just moving over and letting these guys go, trying to save that right rear tire would be my guess.
Marty on Jimmy Johnson.
A developing problem for the 48, Bill. Same problem with Tony Stewart last week, and he came on the radio and said, guys, we have an alternator problem. Have had to switch to the second battery. That's what happened on the restart to Jimmy Johnson. He's falling back through the field. Chad Canals has called for a backup battery to the 48 pit. Hopefully, this one battery will last for the rest of the race, though.
Really bottoming out there in the corners. Well, what he's going to have to do is turn all his fans off. Whatever fans he has in that car, he's going to have to turn off. The problem with that is a lot of these cars run these blowers on the right front tire and the right rear tire to keep them cool. Actual tire, going to be pretty tough to turn those off.
You said some guys had some extra hoses going to the right rear tonight, didn't you?
Normally at this racetrack, you would not have any brake hoses going to any tires, but knowing the tire problems, they started installing hoses to the rear tire, to the front tire, trying to get some cool air on those tires to keep them as cool as they possibly can.
Marty on Biffle.
Well, we saw Biffle start with the lead, Bill, and he's now falling back through the field. Said it's so loose I can't drive it. The only change they made is they put on sticker tires on this run for Biffle. Matt?
Mark Martin runs back in the 10th position. It's been a tough night for Mark on pit road. 2 stops ago, a very close call with his teammate and the 19 of Jeremy Mayfield and Busch. Now, on the last stop, he was not happy when he left pit road, and this is what he said to Pat Tracy.
Always behind these crack hogs. All these guys are in my way. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to pass this 0-1. 40 times, I guess.
And what happened on the last stop for Mark Martin? Drew Blickensderfer, the rear tire changer, came around the car. When he planted his foot, he slipped in the spilled fuel that came out of the overflow. He lost a second, 2 seconds there, got back up, hit the lugs, but it cost Mark some time on pit road. Track position crucial tonight here at Lowe's.
Hey, it's hard to pass guys, man. And every time you come to the pits, if they patch you back on their pit lane, there's nothing that frustrates a driver more than that.
And you can see just how intent these drivers are inside those race cars.
And he is about the most intense. Mark Martin, a dedicated racer. 4 times he's finished second in the championship standings, has never won the title. Right now, as they run, Mark 4th in the chase for the Nextel Cup Championship. Got the win at Kansas last Sunday. He had a really good car, was out front for a long time. I talked to him here on Thursday. He goes, that's a long time to be out front in a good car, because Mark's just waiting for something bad to happen. Trying to work his way back to the front.
Now, these guys were side by side. They all kind of filed in a single file going through 3 and 4, but 1 and 2, they were going at it.
You talked about guys being patient. Those are the guys that are up in the front half of the field. These guys in the back half of the field aren't going to have nearly as much patience.
No, they can't have, because, I mean, they're running back in 25th, 30th, and no one wants to be back there.
That's Carl Edwards in the 99, 33rd.
Whoa, not clear.
There's Stuart Kirby in the 51 car trying to go by him on the outside. Alan, what's going on with this 99 car?
Well, a couple things, Benny. They started the night with a plan not to really race all that hard until this race got 3/4 distance in. We talked about the survival strategy. But as the night has gone on, Carl's begun to complain more and more about the car's handling, gotten more and more vocal about it. They keep encouraging him, trying to keep him up a positive frame of mind, but he's starting to slide back.
You can only stay positive so long at this speed. You know, if your car's not handling, you're wanting to make some changes, or you want the crew to know that, hey guys, I got my hands full. And It gets scary around this place when you're as fast as these guys are going, running side by side. You want your car to handle.
Jeremy Mayfield, another chaser around the 99. Matt Yoakum.
It has been a weekend of struggles for Mayfield now. During final practice, they chased the entire session. A bad vibration. Changed everything in the drivetrain. Everything except the engine. Started deep in the field because he had to go to the back, but he qualified 37th anyway. The good news, the vibration's gone. The bad news, the balance is just junk. They've gone back and forth between loose and tight tonight.
Restarted on lap 101. We're now on lap 111, heading for 112. We had 28 laps of green flag racing twice before somebody lost a tire.
And Tony Stewart, that 20 car, just goes by Jimmy Johnson to move in the 12th position.
Johnson and the 48. Johnson in the 48, chasing the 20 of Stewart up front. Elliott Sadler leads through the field when we come back to Charlotte. Still under green in the UAW-GM Quality 500. Take a look at the unofficial results from last night's Busch Series race here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Ryan Newman edged Elliott Sadler to win it. 1/3 of the race run under the caution. And with 4 to go, the championship standings. Clint Boyer out early after hitting the wall, came back into the race, but still couldn't make up much ground. Martin Truex Jr. leads by 120 points. Time to go through the field, presented by Speed Pass from Exxon and Mobil. Dave Burns bats lead off.
Elliott Sadler's team radioed him about the tires they checked carefully at the last pit stop. They said, we do see a little mark on the right rear tire, but don't worry about it. That was a set of tires you didn't like anyway. They scuffed everything, so they have seen every set of tires on this car already this weekend. Marty?
Well, Dave, one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, Jamie McMurray in the 2nd position, scored his only career win right here in his 2nd ever race. Car's very good. They're now on scuff tires. They were on stickers before, Matt.
Big weekend last week. Roush had 4 of the top 5 at the finish. Right now, Kurt Busch, he's the leading Roush car running in 3rd. Sticker tires the last stop. He says the car, though, is horrible. Meanwhile, his brother, Kyle Busch, his car is on the opposite end of the spectrum. He came out on the radio 4 laps ago, said this thing is beautiful, a little free. We may want to think about tightening it up on the next stop, Dave.
Running 5th, Michael Waltrip started the race 32nd, and he raced his way to the front. 4 tire stops every time. Last time, Michael describing the car as excellent. I guess so, Marty.
Well, Dave, after saying the car was so loose he couldn't drive it, Greg Biffle says the car has now settled in. He also said it wasn't worth pushing the car very early in the run, has fallen back to 6th in a very comfortable pace right now, Matt.
For the 41st time tonight, Mark Martin has finally got back around the 01 of Joe Nemechek. He had a slight blister on the right front when they pulled the tires off on the last stop. Pat Trice said we will free you up on the next stop so we don't have that issue again. AB?
Joe Nemechek just called into his crew and said, I'm happy to run 8th. His car handling okay. They have had regular right rear blisters on each pit stop. Marty?
Well, Alan, unfortunately, this afternoon, Dave Blaney found out that he will not be in this 07 car in 2006. He lost his ride. He's having a terrific run right now, though. He's in the 9th position. Car's a little bit loose, but they've been fast for most of the afternoon. Alan?
Well, Operation Recovery continues for Tony Stewart after the pit stop miscommunication that dropped him back to 35th place. You see Tony has just cracked the top 10, talking earlier in the race about trying to lead the most laps to get those extra championship points. Now I think he'd just like to lead again. Marty?
Well, Sterling Marlin won this race in 2001. Currently, he's in the 11th position, Alan, with a fast race car. Looks like it could finish in the top 10 tonight. A little bit loose on the last stop. They added a pound to the right front tire, trying to tighten up Sterling's car. Jimmy Johnson riding around the voltage issue, still there. They've talked about what they're going to do. They have the backup battery in the back of the pit. They're checking to make sure it is up to the right amount of volts, and they may put it in the car if they have a long caution. Dave?
Casey Mears has run in and around the top 10 all night. On the last stop, his car wouldn't turn, so they made an adjustment for that. Now it turns way too well. Very loose for Casey Mears.
And here we go.
Sterling Marlin, 24 laps.
Yeah, it's unreal. You know it's coming.
Well, Matt Kenseth, he had passed the leader, was in front of the leader. Well, he had just made an unscheduled stop with another flat tire, right front tire flat, when Sterling Marlin has that problem.
And our guys from pit road had told us that Carl Edwards was approaching the situation where he might have to pit under green. He's right now scored as the last car on the lead lap.
And he was only a few seconds in front of the leader, Elliott Sadler.
And like normally these right fronts, when they blow like that, they don't give you any warning. You don't really feel it coming most of the time. Marty?
And Wally, not in this case. They asked Sterling, did you have any idea? He said, no, it just went all of a sudden. I had no clue that was going to happen.
On board, Sterling Marlin.
When he was down on the bottom of the racetrack, so he went all the way up the track, and that's where you hit the wall the hardest. We talked about Junior doing it right out the straight, almost on the straightaway, so he didn't have as far to go, but Sterling hit it about as hard as you can hit it.
Looks like he is okay. He's driving the car back, beat up as it is.
And he did drop the window net, the indication that he is okay.
But I tell you what, you keep hitting the wall at 160, 70 miles per hour. One of these days, your wrist's going to get in the way or something.
Pit road is closed. What was a hard hit Sterling had at Kansas a few years ago that took him out of contention for the championship.
Sterling was running good, too. He was in the top 10 when this happened.
In fact, I think, was it Marty that perhaps predicted he was going to have a top 10 finish?
Oh, you had to bring that up, didn't you?
Well, just wanted Marty to know that we were listening. Transform the way you watch NASCAR. NBC and Sony HD TV proudly present tonight's race in high definition. Pit road still closed.
Well, I think they were concerned about Sterling Marlin maybe being on pit road, so that's why they chose not to open it, but it will be open the next time by, and everyone can dash in and get 4 more tires.
Because they opened it before, and Bobby Hamilton Jr. was right there in the middle of pit road and fortunately got out of the way.
I think I'd throw one in my trunk just for luck.
Tire?
Yeah.
Yeah, but who you going to get to change it out there if it happens? AAA?
Not a person.
35 cars on the lead lap, all getting ready to come to pit road. Here's our team Tylenol safety fact. In the fall of 2001, NASCAR mandated the use of head and neck restraint devices to reduce extreme head motion during crashes and sudden stops. And that has been a tremendous add to the safety features in and around these race cars. And the guys are glad they have it tonight. All right, big parade coming to pit road, led by Elliott Sadler. Matt.
Kurt Busch has had a rough chase. Opened the weekend saying we just need some luck. He has a good run going now. Looking for his best finish here at Lowe's. They're going to make an air pressure change in the right rear and on the left side, Marty, because he says he didn't like the way the car felt early on.
Matt, Greg Biffle running in 7th. When he hit pit road, he's going to be in the middle of your screen. He said that was too loose at the beginning of the run. We need to fix that. It's a wedge and air pressure adjustment for Biffle. Alan.
Tony Stewart was so happy with his race car that last run, they will make no changes this time by. Just 4 tires and send him on his way with a full tank. Dave?
Leader Elliott Sadler leaves pit lane. 1 turn down on the right rear jack bolt. The car was just a little bit tight at the end of the run. 4 tires for the leader. He leaves as the leader as well.
Wow.
That was cool.
That was. Big race off of pit road. We'll sort it out for you when we come back to Charlotte.
Racing's hometown, under green in Charlotte.
Why are the Charlotte races at night? Because the fans need the next day to recover. The Lowe's Motor Speedway has been a nightmare for many, turning victory into defeat and defeat into disgust.
It'd be hard for me to believe that some of these guys can pass the driver's test.
Jimmy Johnson, the sweep of the season's races.
But for one driver, there is no greater high than Lowe's. Here, Jimmy Johnson has won 3 in a row. But here, he is remembered for finishing second. In May, Mark Martin was the star in the All-Star race. Last week, this championship contender was back in victory lane. These chasers know what it means to win here. And the rest want to find out. The battle for the Nextel Cup is underway at Charlotte, where everyone wonders if this Saturday night show will feature another Chevy chase. And the field coming around to get the green this time by. Completing lap 130 with Elliott Sadler and Kurt Busch in Fords up front.
The first Chevy is back in 4th position, Kyle Busch.
Ryan Newman restarts 8th. 2 tires stop on the 12 car to get him back up front. We'll see how that works out.
The left side tires have not been any kind of issue at all. I guess that's why Ryan decided to try to get him some track position once again.
Murray taking a look. Kurt Busch's car has been really loose on the restarts, and it looks like he's still having trouble because down on the bottom and going to lose a couple more spots.
We watch the race. Check with Marty.
Sterling Marlin back behind in the garage here, and he said on the radio, gave no indication it was going to let go. Sterling?
No, we tore right rear up the run before, and it wasn't real bad. It got loose, and we took half a pound out of the right rear. And it was a little bit tight just riding, and I was running 8th or 9th wherever we was at, and no warning. And, just blew a tire out. But, I wish these owners of these tracks would, talk to somebody before they grind tracks and do stuff, because we had a good racetrack, and they messed it up.
You said you were being patient. Is there anything different the drivers can be doing, Sterling?
No, I mean, you drop a rag, you got to go fast as you can, and we had trouble here back in the late 80s with Hoosiers and Goodyears, and you just had to slow down, and we ain't gonna slow down. We'll go fast as we can, but I'd like to thank everybody on the Coors Light team. This is a new car we had at Kansas last week and really run good and run really good here, and the motor ran great, and we get back where we used to be, just can't get any luck.
It's a tough situation for these drivers. They have to go fast to keep up with everybody else, but they know the key to saving those tires is slowing down about half a second, and you just can't do that.
And again, they used a grinding process on this racetrack. They made it smoother and faster, but they have received a lot of complaints from the drivers. Humpy Wheeler, the president and general manager of the Lowe's Motor Speedway, confirmed this evening at the drivers' meeting that he will have this track resurfaced before the series comes back here in May.
And he apologized for the racetrack and said he appreciated these drivers working with him.
There's a lot of racing going on. That patience thing, Benny, starting to wear out a little bit.
Well, so far they have been patient. They're just waiting for the tires to blow. As this race progresses, the drivers will start trying to pick up positions, and that's when they start running into each other.
There'll be a lot less give and more take.
We went back to green on lap 131. So we'd be looking around lap 155 for trouble to break out again. Tony Stewart in the 20 with Dave Blaney on his hip.
Stewart goes by the 07, takes that spot away as Kurt Busch, 97, trying to get by Joe Nemechek. Kurt Busch restarted this thing in second spot, is all the way back to 8th. Make that 9th.
Loose, it looks like. That car wants to spin out in the corners, so he can't get on the gas, and just got to be careful.
He's on board with Joe Nemechek, looking back at Tony Stewart. There's some racy guys behind this pack as well. There's Jeff Burton in the 31 car. 17th last time by. Time for the Singular Race Talk $1,031 challenge. NASCAR talking about putting a hard cap on how many teams an owner can have. What do you think? No limit? Limit of 3. To vote, you can text the word RACE to 191 on your Singular wireless phone or go to NASCAR.com. You'll also be entered for a chance to win $1,031. Looking forward at Rusty Wallace there while we were on Burton's car. Rusty back in the 16th spot. There's Sadler up front. In his 14 races here, Elliott Sadler had led a total of 71 laps prior to tonight. Already 101 up front for Sadler in that 38 M&M's Ford.
And you see the 5 car of Kyle Busch was able to get by McMurray in the 42 and take over the second spot. So now the Chevy is chasing that Ford.
And it wasn't that long ago when you predicted how well Kyle would run in the second half of this season. He's already got a win, has 8 top 5s in the last 6 races. Got the win at California, 4th at Richmond, 2nd at Dover.
And it's good to see him running good here because, with the shock thing that happened, everybody was like, oh, no wonder he ran so good. It was because of the shocks. Well, can't say that tonight.
Finished 2nd at Dover, and NASCAR took the shocks from the 5 car and also the 48. Both cars were legal in post-race inspection, but NASCAR was not happy with the intent of what the teams had done with the shocks and implemented a new rule last week before Kansas. And some of the teams got here and didn't realize that that rule was in effect for qualifying as well and had to adjust their shocks before they went out to practice. Jeff Gordon involved in an early wreck. We showed you the guys back in the garage working hard on that car to get Jeff back out, see if he can pick up some positions. Right now, scored 42nd, 94 laps down, but could possibly pass Dale Earnhardt Jr., Bobby Hamilton, and Sterling Marlin if he can meet the minimum speed and stay on the track. And under these conditions, that will not be any fun. Casey Kane in the 9, Kurt Busch right behind him, on board with Nemechek. Elliott Sadler up front by 0.2 of a second over Kyle Busch.
And the last time by, Kyle Busch ran 28.81. Unbelievably fast.
Matt.
Bill, he had a very productive month of May, won the Truck and Busch Series race here at Lowe's. Now trying to complete the cycle and get a cup win here on this mile and a half. Now, the car, he says, is free on the bottom, especially when he overdrives into the corners down in 3 and 4. But he is really reeling in the 38 car, getting ready to take the lead. Dave Burns.
And Matty, that 38 car is not turning as well as it was before. And Elliott blames it a little bit on the track, as if we weren't blaming enough on the track already. But he's just talking about the weather conditions. The track, as it cools, it tightens up a little bit. They're trying to keep up with that. And look at the move over. Just let the 5 go by much faster.
Patience there.
And this groove is starting to get wider. I've been watching the cars at 3 and 4, and the groove is moving up the racetrack, so they're using more of the racetrack, which is a good thing.
So Kyle Busch has gone to the front. NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing from the Lowe's Motor Speedway, presented by the Principal Financial Group, live on NBC. Caution has just come out for Kyle Busch, the race leader.
You'll never guess why.
Tire issue?
Pretty obvious, huh? Man, this is so brutal.
No warning, boys. No warning.
Rush and roll out. I mean, just don't know who it's going to be.
And that time,
when it's your turn.
I'm sorry, Wally, that was 19 green flag laps.
So we're getting less and less laps.
But he ran the car harder than most of these guys have been running the car.
Ran his fastest speed of the night on lap 140 10 laps ago.
There you see him going through the trial wall. Wow.
Almost the same spot that Junior at the wall, but now back in the wall again.
Coming at you.
Oh boy.
Fab shops will be busy this week.
Yes. So will Humpy's phone. Take a look at the Wendy's race menu. Next Sunday, Martinsville, Virginia. Last short track race of the season, the half mile up there, 12:30 Eastern time. Then on to Atlanta. Jimmy Johnson won there both those races a year ago. Then Texas, our first visit there.
Finally got a track hit home.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that one.
Of course, our coverage begins each week with the Bank of America Countdown to Green. NBC, your exclusive home for the chase for the Nextel Cup Championship. 35 cars on the lead lap.
Well, pit road is open, and guess what's going to happen?
35 cars are going to come to pit road.
There you go. Okay. You got it in one, Bill.
That's only because there's 35 cars on the lead lap.
Right.
Whether it be more.
Matt Yoakum.
They're going to put a set of sticker tires, brand new tires on Mark Martin's Ford on this stop. He said it seems like every time we tighten the car up, we go slower. He liked the balance on the previous run. They're going to make a wedge adjustment. Let's head to the triples, starting with Snyder.
And Matt, Greg Biffle is very pleased with this race car. In the middle of your screen, he's running in the 3rd position. 4 new sticker tires. It came on the radio during that run, said, guys, the car is perfect. Obviously, no changes. 14-0 on the stop. Allen.
Tony Stewart told his team, I feel like I can run really solid laps this way. Very clean 4-tire stop. No changes, Dave.
New leader Elliott Sadler, top of your screen. It looks like very close going off the pit road. They changed 4 tires, made another wedge adjustment in the right rear of the car to keep the car a little bit freer turning.
A lot of traffic down there. We might see a speeding penalty here. We'll see what happens.
And Casey Mears looks like might have changed 2 tires to get out front. I know he came out front.
Just 19 green flag laps on that set. We'll sort the field, go back to racing when we come back to the Lowe's Motor Speedway at Charlotte. Field coming to get the green. Let's go inside the NBC pit window, Benny.
Mike Lingerfeld, front tire changer here. Rolling. Watch as he comes around the front. Ryan McCray has to chase the tire down, and oh, Mike, he trips. He slides to on his hands and knees, but he just crawls over to the left front and still almost finishes as quick as the rear tire changer.
14.4 seconds. Casey Mears took 2 tires.
He probably had a blistered right sneaker. That deal.
And there were no speeding penalties, so everybody minding the pit road laws here. Dave Burns.
Bill, Mike Lingerfeld's shoe was okay, and he was uninjured as well. I checked with him.
Thank you, sir.
And Mike missed last week's race at Kansas because he was injured at Talladega trying to fix one of the wrecked race cars, the 38 wrecked race car.
Casey Mears was 12th before pit stops. Took 2 tires, leads the field to the green.
Elliott Sadler, I think, may have spun the tires here on that restart. He's going to lose the spot, maybe.
And check who's in 4th position, Tony Stewart.
Yeah, they may all lose spots here within the next 10 laps.
Matt Kenseth in that 17 car, 10 laps down, running alongside the race leader.
Alan Bestwick says Tony Stewart had any tire trouble tonight?
BP, not a spot on any of the tires that have come off of his car. They've got their fingers crossed down here, but not a spot. And that's really bad news for the competition.
I agree with you. I was wondering about that.
You saw the 24 car of Jeff Gordon on the apron. Apparently he's helping out his teammate here, Jimmy Johnson.
He's scumping tires for those guys. We talked about it earlier. You put a heat cycle on them, you kind of scrub them in and cure them a little bit, and that does help these tires.
Kyle Busch, who brought out the most recent caution, done for the night, out of the race. Joins Sterling Marlin, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Mike Wallace.
And Elliott Sadler has gotten down that 38 car on the bottom of the racetrack, and he just can't get back to the top. And he's fallen back last time by. He had gone back to the 7th position and losing even more spots. And here comes Tony Stewart.
Looking inside of Bickle. Now falls in behind. We'll watch the race. Check with Marty.
Well, we'll ask you, Kyle Busch, the same thing we've asked everybody else. If you have any indication it was going to go out on you?
No, I never really had any indication. But first off, I just want to thank my whole Delphi guys. You know, they did an awesome job for me. Gave me a great race car out there, and you know, it's not the tires, it's not the racetrack, it's just the conditions we're under. And you know, I was out there riding my car around there 85-90%, and just scared to death of pushing it that final 10% because you never know what's going to happen. But it's just hard to race in these conditions, and we're seeing it every 30 laps. So unless NASCAR wants to throw a caution every 30 laps, that's pretty much what's going to happen. We're going to see cars in the fence bringing us the cautions. So they're going to pay somebody to win tonight. It ain't going to be the number 5 car who deserved it.
Are all the drivers running less than 100%?
I guarantee it. You go ask everybody after this race, ask them how hard they ran. They'll tell you they ran hard at the end, but ask them how hard they ran through the beginning and middle part of the race.
Glad to see you're okay.
Matt Kenseth just slipped up.
Yep, Stewart took advantage of that, and he is on a mission. I guarantee you he's not running 80% right now. Stewart's got a good race car, and what's great about Stewart's car is he can pass cars on the bottom and not get loose.
And he might be running 100% because he hasn't had any tire problems to worry about. So he can go out there and mash that accelerator down to the floor and not worry about it. But all these other cars in up front, they have had some problems. They have to be careful and try to keep that car around till the end of the race.
Tony Stewart to the front. I can't imagine how difficult it is not to go 100% in these cars.
It's pretty difficult, especially when you look in the mirror and you got guys that want to pass you. You know, it's the driver's nature to stand on the gas and pass people. So really hard to find a balance to try to, you know, run hard enough to maintain or stay in a position and not abuse your right front tire.
And you see that last time when the 42 car, Jamie McMurray, got alongside the 16, Biffle, 16, just backed off and let him go because now is not the time to race. You just simply cannot take a chance and use your car too hard now.
And you've been watching Benny, and you're concerned about what's going to happen in the second half of this race as we approach the halfway mark.
Because I think the guys then will start trying to race each other, and then we'll have the blown tires plus guys making contact and running into each other.
Well, if Ryan Newman wins the Nextel Cup Championship this year, Alan, he's going to remember this night, isn't he?
Well, I think he's concerned that there's still a long way to go in this race, Bill. He's going to remember this night anyway. Ryan called in on the radio just after they went full speed racing. I have a vibration. Crew Chief Matt Borland and he discussing it for a minute. Ryan questioned whether or not he could drive the car this way. Matt told him to feel it out as good as he could. He hasn't come to pit road and he hasn't said any more about it.
Well, he's dropping back right now, so boy, you got to listen to what that race car's telling you, because if it's a vibration 9 out of 10 times, it doesn't go away.
So what's he doing right now?
Listen to his butt. And it's always right, especially on a racetrack like this.
You see, McMurray has gone by Mears to take over the second position. Biffle goes by to take over third. But all these guys chasing Tony Stewart.
And again, Mears just with 2 tires on the most recent pit stop. Tony trying to pull away. Jamie McMurray's only win came at this track. Subbing for Sterling Marlin. Tony Stewart's a past winner here. Former series champion and the leader in the chase for the Nextel Cup. 165 laps complete at Charlotte.
NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing from Lowe's Motor Speedway, presented by the Principal Financial Group, is brought to you by Chevy, the winningest name in racing, and American Revolution. By Prilosec OTC, zero heartburn for 24 hours with 1 pill a day. By Speed Pass from Exxon and Mobil. And by Sprint, proud partner of the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series.
More than 130,000 fans here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway on a beautiful night for racing. Caution is out.
Turn 4. Harvick, right front. How many laps was that, Bill?
17.
So now we're just working less and less laps when we're having tire trouble. Started out at 28.
28, 28, 25, 19, 17.
See him firing the engine up. He's going to try to drive this thing back in.
That's 2 and 2 nights for Harvick.
Yep. Yeah, he had a hard hit last night. Good point, Wally.
Yep.
He's already up on the wall. Happens in a hurry, though. 7th caution of the night. They had 22 caution flags here in the 600-mile race in May. Over 100 laps, a quarter of the race run under the yellow. Last night, a third of the race for the Busch Series run under the yellow.
Now the guys that, like him, that hit last night who weren't happy, really not going to be happy tonight.
Let's pay off our singular wireless race talk poll. How many teams should a car owner be allowed to have?
Pretty close.
I tell you what, that's 50-50 almost. That's
it's within our margin of error.
Yeah,
wouldn't you
of course
say?
it is. Of
I
course
think
it
we
is.
have a large
margin of error.
What's our 15%, right? I'm only kidding, folks.
Well,
But
everybody will be
obviously,
coming. Yep.
A lot of folks think that's a lot to do about nothing.
Pit road is closed, and I'm not sure everybody knew that. Let's check in Wally's World, driven by State Farm, where the talk was about the surface, and I'm not talking about just the racetrack.
Welcome to Wally World. My special guest today, Lake Bell, from the show on NBC called Surface.
Hi.
Welcome aboard.
So Surface is about these like 3 strangers. They have a close encounter with an alien species at the bottom of the ocean.
On the promos for your show, they say, the fate of the world is in your hands. That's how you should feel about me right now.
Right. Oh my God. They say a lot of women scream on your show. I am not screaming. Goodness gracious.
What's this?
That's the wall. That's the wall. like, sir. No, not at all.
You don't get out of the car until you say, I love Wally's World.
I freaking love Wally's World. Okay?
You can get out.
It's on Monday nights in Wally. Keep your hands on the wheel. Now chassis adjustment going on for the 97. They're going to go for 4 tires, but his teammate Mark Martin takes on 2 to Snyder.
Matt, Greg Biffle running 3rd on the racetrack, and he said, this car is so good, guys, I'm going to make no changes for the 3rd straight time. Alan.
You see Tony Stewart already gone. 2 tires. Want to see what it'll do in case they need to do it at the end of the race, Dave.
Casey Mears needs 4 tires, no changes to the chassis. He said it's loose at the start, but it gets better.
So now pit strategy coming into play.
Oh, yeah.
And Rusty Wallace, I think, in the 2 car. Let's see how many changes. DJ Richardson, he changes the right. 5 lug nuts. Just 2.
2 tires for Rusty. Still under caution here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. So you have a tough job. Lake Bell, huh?
Yes, I do. It was tough. She was fun. She talked a lot during the lap, or laps, which is great because it makes my job easy. As you know, being carried is what I like.
Tony Stewart scored as the race leader. Hey, for more NASCAR information, log on to NBCSports.com. Benny has an in-depth preview of each race in the chase for the next Hell Cup Championship. And Alan Bestwick looks at the chances of rookie Carl Edwards becoming this year's next Hell Cup champion. That's all at NBCSports.com. Race fans, visit LowesRacing.com today for your chance to win up to $48,000 in the When Jimmy Wins, You Win sweepstakes. Just visit LowesRacing.com for more details. Marty.
Well, currently Jimmy Johnson in 16th, and let's talk to Chad Knaus about the voltage issue. How bad of a problem is the voltage issue, Chad?
It's a bit of an issue at this point. We don't really know exactly what's going on. It's starting to charge back up again, so we don't know if it was just an overdraw. We tried to take some extra precautions with the Lowe's Chevrolet today and put some tire blowers on there to try to prevent some of these tire issues, and it may have been a little bit too much of a draw. We don't exactly know what's going on, but it's starting to charge the system back up, and Jimmy's pretty comfortable with the car. We've got a very fast race car. We're just being cautious with it. We want to make sure that we're there at the end with still 155 laps to go. There's no need to go out there and try to lead laps. Obviously, we've seen people run up front and hit the wall. We don't need to do that right now.
Matt?
Kevin Harvick, one of those drivers running up front and hitting the wall. You predicted this last night.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious to see, after the test and everything that happened down here with I don't even know what it is, the tires, the racetrack speeds, you name it. But just pretty bad that they're putting all the competitors in this position. I was just running 75, 80%. So, it's just really, really bad and really embarrassing.
This is unbelievable, you said.
Yeah, it is unbelievable. It's just every 30 laps the tires blow out. So I hope everybody's proud of the position they put all the drivers and the sponsors in tonight.
They came into this race with a 1-point cushion over 12th place, going for that $1 million bonus for the driver who finishes 11th in the championship standings. He's on his way back to see how bad the car is and if they can get it back out.
Thanks, Matt. Tony Stewart brings the field to the green for the restart in the UAW-GM Quality 500.
As we watch this restart, drivers don't like crashing when it's not. Well, they don't like crashing at all.
Right.
But when it's not their fault, it's other issues, and everybody is having those same issues blowing right front tires. There's nothing you can do as a driver. You're on board a unguided missile when a tire blows, and hey, what? Not too humor, especially like with Harvick, where it happens 2 nights in a row.
And again, the thing about it is that the feeling was this is exactly what was going to happen.
Well, again, we talked about it. We were going to talk about at the very top of the show exactly what was going on. The 4.5 mile per hour, the speed that these cars picked up from last year, a crucial thing. But one other thing, the racetrack, they smoothed it out, and it's not dropping off. Usually, these cars will run around 185, 186 mile per hour the first few laps, and then slow down to 180. They're not doing that. They're running 186 the whole time for 20, 30 laps, and the tires will just not take it. Next year, Goodyear will have a different tire, but the racetrack will be paved then, and they'll tire test and come with a different tire.
After crashing in the Busch Series race here last night, Harvick came out of the infield care center and predicted that the crew working in there would be the most valuable crew at the racetrack tonight.
Yeah, sometimes repaving a racetrack, though, BP, as you know, it needs to have some weather on it. You don't want to pave a racetrack a month before the race because then it'll be a one-groove racetrack. So hopefully they'll pave it soon enough to where they'll be weathered and the track will get some time on it.
And while there were certainly concerns coming in here tonight, as there were in May, there will definitely be concerns when the series comes back here next Memorial Day weekend, with wondering how the surface will perform with what they've done to it before then.
There's a lot of rumors floating around about what they're going to do here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Some of the rumors that you hear, and I have not talked to Humpy Wheeler about this, but variable bank in the racetrack, because we're always concerned when you repave a racetrack that you end up with one groove racing. They're talking about variable banking, 3 different banks like the Homestead Miami Speedway has, and that would, even a new pavement, would lend itself to competitive racing.
Get an update from pit road. AB?
Yeah, Bill, just an update. I've spoken with a couple of crew chiefs. I've noticed a NASCAR official coming into some pits down here from time to time with an air pressure gauge. Both Greg Zipadelli, Tony Stewart's crew chief, and Ryan Pemberton, Joe Nemechek's crew chief, have confirmed to me that officials have discussed air pressures with them. There were no more details about what the discussion was other than that, but there are officials down here checking tire pressures right now and having discussions about that with the teams, trying to follow up on this tire issue.
Well, you know what they're doing there. When you go down the interstate and you see all those truck tires laying on the side of the road, that's caused from the tires going flat or under inflation. The same things happen to these cars. If you underinflate them, then they're going to start coming apart as they're doing.
They're faster that way.
But they're faster, that's right.
But they'll come apart. So then the crew's got to make a decision. Well, what do we do here? Do we make it safe and slow or dangerous and fast?
It's Jimmy Johnson in the 48 inside of Casey Mears.
Oh! 99 car, Carl Edwards goes in the corner and drifted up almost in the side of the 39 car, David Strimmy.
He went into the corner and almost didn't come out of it.
Both of them almost didn't come out.
Johnson, Casey Kane in the 9, Rusty Wallace right in front of them. Wallace, one of the drivers that took just 2 tires on that most recent stop.
Steve Peterson, the NASCAR official, going through, checking tires, checking air pressure in the tires.
Marty?
And guys, I don't know what's busier, the action out on the racetrack or the action behind pit wall. It's like a swap meet back here. The hottest commodity right now, sticker tires from anybody who falls out of the race, like Kevin Harvick's team. He sent a set of sticker tires to his teammate, Jeff Burton. You see them receiving those tires. Actually, those are scuffs right now. And it depends on how your car is handling. Somewhat scuffs, somewhat stickers. But most of the cars right now want sticker tires. Those seem to be not blistering when they run them on the race car.
More from pit road, Dave.
Hey, Bill, we talked about the 24 of Jeff Gordon scuffing tires for his teammate, the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, right?
Yes.
I checked with Jeff Gordon's crew chief, Steve Letarte. I said, okay, you guys started the race with all stickers. Now you're scuffing for your teammate. Do you think scuffing would have been the way to go? And Steve told me no. I still think stickers is the way to go because I think sticker tires dissipate the heat better.
Interesting.
And that's the mentality that newer tires will wear a little bit. And see, that's what these tires need to wear. They're not wearing, they're gripping the racetrack, and the rubber's not coming off. If a tire wears and the rubber comes off, it dissipates heat.
Matt Yokohama, Mark Martin.
Took 2 tires in the last stop, Bill, but he wanted Pat Trice to make sure they were scuffed tires. Now, Mark feels more comfortable on scuffs. The next stop, they are probably going to go stickers, but then after that, Mark says he wants to run scuffs the rest of the night. The comfort level is much better on scuffed tires. Now, his teammate, the 97 of Busch, they have 5 or 6 sets of sticker tires. They've been running stickers all night. Mark has at least 5 sets of scuffs and a couple stickers in his pit. So tires up at this end off of turn 4. Good shape for both chasers of the 97 and 6.
And it really just comes down to what the car is telling you and what the driver feels, what he's comfortable with.
Listen to your butt.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of information coming through the seat right now, especially at these speeds.
Dale Jarrett in the 88. Kurt Busch just got by him. Tony Stewart leads, and it's Elliott Sadler, Michael Waltrip, Ryan Newman, and Mark Martin, the top 5 at Charlotte. Been a lot of bad news for those guys tonight. Tires have been an issue on this grind, on this track. Caution has just come out. See the caution flag.
I don't see any wrecked cars around the speedway, so I guess it's just a simple matter of some debris on the surface someplace.
Hearing that it could be a competition caution by NASCAR.
We were just getting to that point, that 18-19 lap point under green. So if that's a good call if NASCAR made it.
Tony Stewart the leader. Elliott Sadler, Michael Waltrip, Greg Biffle, and Ryan Newman. We have confirmed it is a competition caution from NASCAR for tires.
Man, they're going to have a caution flag every 20 laps. Let these guys change tires. It does become a battle on pit road, doesn't it?
We have 134 laps to go.
One thing that will do, Wally, it will let these guys race a little bit harder in those 20 laps.
Yeah. If they know that's what they're going to do for the rest of the race.
If that's right.
Alan?
Yeah, Bill, just monitoring the transmission from Greg Zipadelli to Tony Stewart. Greg just told Tony that NASCAR is going to a minimum tire inflation for the rest of this race, and so they're going to have to adjust what they're doing. Only one of their 4 tires was in question, but NASCAR is apparently going to step up and make a minimum inflation for this race, and we'll try and get more details after the pit stops.
Okay, Alan, and pit road is going to remain closed this time by, so teams can get their tires to the inflation recommendations passed out from NASCAR. So we'll take a break, come back to the Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Pit stops are underway here at Lowe's. Mark Martin's team makes a chassis adjustment. The car flipped a light switch, he said, and went drastically to the tight side. Snyder.
Greg Biffle running for us says, I can pass that 20 car if I want to. He's on the bottom of your screen. No changes. Alan.
4-tire change for Tony Stewart. The air pressure changes I talked about just a minute ago. He's gone. Dave?
Elliott Sadler just a little bit tough to turn that car. That will go up 1/2 round on the track bar. 4 tires for Elliott. He leaves pit road.
Tony Stewart will win the race off of pit road. And what NASCAR has told these teams is they must stick to the recommended tire pressure that is given out by Goodyear, that is handed out prior to every race. So NASCAR wants teams to meet the minimum tire pressure that is provided to them from Goodyear before the race. 132 laps to go. NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing presented by the Principal Financial Group at Lowe's.
Hey, Bill, maybe the duck can figure out what's going on around here. Why don't we cue him?
It's quite an outfit right there.
It is.
That's a lame duck. But he's going to beat the traffic, though. Time for our Aflac trivia question. The first driver to win 4 straight super speedway races at one track.
Man, that's a tough question. I don't know. I surrender.
Bill Elliott at Michigan, where he's been very successful.
I didn't understand the question.
I'll explain it to you after the race. Marty.
Well, Bill, basically like Alan said, NASCAR's mandated air pressures down here, and the 16 team not very happy about it. Explain why you were upset about why they mandated your air pressure.
Well, you know, earlier I heard them say they needed to be 50 pounds, which is recommended on the right front. Well, in my world, I've been 50 pounds all year at this racetrack, okay, because we've been playing it conservative. What it was is the difference in our gauge and the NASCAR gauge. That it's about 0.6 of a pound off. So I had to increase my air pressure just so I wouldn't take a chance of losing points if I ever did blow a tire. It's not something we want to do with the National Guard for, but he's pretty happy with the car. On a good note, the guys are performing great here in the pits. We just don't know how hard to run. We got to get to the end of the race, and it's important for the points, so looking to the end.
It's a safety measure, but is it a fair step to you race teams?
Well, whatever's fair. I mean, we shouldn't have to be doing this kind of game anyhow, I guess. We don't like to race like this. I'd rather be out there telling him, run as hard as you can and go. I mean, he says he can run a half a second faster right now anytime he wants. So, well, maybe we can save that for the end of the race and maybe be okay.
And Greg was not very happy about the timing of this caution either, and really upset about that with NASCAR.
Okay, Biffle runs 7th. Doug alluded to the fact that he could lose points. NASCAR has said that they have not put that out there, that is not the case. And we'll stay on top of that as well.
And we're talking about a half a pound of air pressure. And I'm sure that you folks have seen that little silver air gauge in somebody's shirt pocket. Says, how can that possibly be? But these guys use gauges that cost $500–600. And it is possible to change the air pressure 1/10 of a pound at a time. 38 cars won the lead, isn't he?
He was using racetrack nobody else has been on either coming off the 2.
But again, it goes back to the fact Elliott Sadler was very strong in the Busch race last night and has been strong so far tonight. Tony Stewart, Elliott Sadler, and a pack behind him.
Michael Waltrip right there in 3rd spot, trying to weave his way through a couple of cars that are a lap or 10 down.
And Michael's had a good run here tonight. Dave on Michael Waltrip.
And it's still the same good story, Bill. Michael radioed his crew, hey, the car is still great. Give me 4 fresh tires. Don't make any changes.
On board the Napa Chevy. Matt Kenseth right in front of him in that 17 car. Had problems all night. He's 10 laps down.
Kenseth in the 17 car is about as fast as anyone else, but in one of the tires, and look at all the smoke he's getting off when the tire's hitting the fender. And he continues to have right front tire problems.
Ryan Newman in the 12, Mark Martin in the 6, Jimmy Johnson in the 48 right behind him. 3 of the guys in the chase for the championship.
Oh, boy, Blaney bottomed out. Going into turn 1, unless he's got bigger problems, but almost put that car on a wall. Now he's trying to figure out if he's got a tire going down or if it was just something, if he made a mistake or what, but it takes a while to get your nerve back up.
I was going to say, how quick do you get your confidence back up after something like that?
Usually a corner or 2 you'll feel it out. And then if it feels like it's okay to you, then you get back on it.
You see Greg Biffle in the 16 car. He restarted this race in about 7th or 6th or 7th spot. He's fallen back to 11th.
Boy, Rusty Wallace took up the racetrack in 1 and 2. Don't know if he's got an issue, but I was watching just as he just slid up the racetrack like he did have a tire problem.
Very slow.
He sure thinks he's got a tire problem.
And he's trying to figure out if he can get to pit road or not. Rusty Wallace heads to pit road under green. Another contender in the chase for the championship.
And trying to get that car slowed down to 45 miles per hour. The speed limit on pit road. Alan, coming to you.
Look at the right rear as Rusty's coming down pit road. He thinks the right rear is flat.
It doesn't look like it rear, Alan, but
yeah, they'll check it. But
left sides look good. 2 right side tires.
You hear the crew chief Larry Carter telling Rusty both left side tires look good. Change the 2 rights and get back out there. I had just left his pit a minute ago, asking about the car and the progress of their race. They kind of basically had just been cruising, trying to get to the finish without a problem, and a problem found them. I'll follow up in a minute.
And that'll be interesting to find out, because it looked like Rusty really wasn't sure if he wanted to come down pit road or not.
That's one of those things too, when a car gets, and we watch the 07, it's to the left of our screen, but you see all those sparks. He may have hit the apron. I can't see from that angle. But if you get your left side tires on the apron, which is below that white line in the corner, the car will bottom out and it shoots up the racetrack.
And another problem, Rusty Wallace's indecision to come to pit road. Too fast, entering, speeding penalty. Will have to do a pass through. Come down pit road, pass through pit road, under green.
Right, you saw him lock it up. He was trying to get it slowed down. He's going to lose another lap because of that. But sometimes what I was saying, the car will get loose after a restart, and a driver thinks he's got a tire going down because it really gets loose. It's not just a little bit loose like in race conditions. The car really, we've seen a lot of guys struggling after the restart with loose race cars until 5, 6, 7 laps into a run.
That's Dale Jarrett in the 88 UPS Ford.
Check this out. Michael Waltrip, that 15 car, trying to get on the inside of Elliott Sadler. Elliott just moves over and lets him go. Let's go up there and chase that 20 car, big boy.
Michael Waltrip's best finish here, second. Alan, you got something on the 2?
Yeah, the air pressure gauge on the right rear tire, it was losing air.
Stewart.
Tony Stewart into the wall.
Cut to right rear tire. He blew a right rear tire going into turn 3.
The championship leader has brought out the caution at Charlotte.
That's unbelievable.
You know, everybody was worried about Talladega in the points race.
Well, this is another joker thrown in the deck, and you can see the right rear tire is flat, as Wally said.
Tony Stewart came into this race with a 75-point lead in the chase for the Nextel Cup. Right now, that lead is 95 points, but it's about to start shrinking.
Very, very frustrated.
Zipadelli is
just, you know.
Oh, he's so frustrated.
All right, let's take a look.
He's going in the corner, and Wally just minding his business.
Yep, you watch the car here. It'll just go sideways, and he feels it, but the right rear is down at this point.
Now, he hasn't hurt this car too bad, but it's hard to visualize him outrunning many people. He might be able to stay on the lead lap.
No, he's not going to stay on the lead lap.
Don't think so?
With this car, no.
On board with Michael Waltrip, looking at Tony Stewart.
See that little bit of a wiggle. We first turned the steering wheel, he felt it loose.
Come on around. Caution is out here.
Matt.
Mark Martin's in. They're going to go at least right side tires on this stop. They were talking about maybe doing 4, but Mark called it off, and he's away, Marty.
Jimmy Johnson running 7th, maybe a 2-tire stop here. He gets loose in, a little tighter in the middle of the corner, and it is 2 tires for the 48 Allen.
Going to change the tires on Tony Stewart's car. You already see the crew on the back cutting away the rear bumper cover. They've got to bend that left rear fender corner back in to keep that from sticking out in the air, and they'll probably have to come back a few times under this yellow to try and spruce this 20 car up.
As fast as you're going here, you need all that working for you, and he doesn't have anything working for him downforce wise in the back of that car, so he is going to be struggling for the rest of the night.
Tony Stewart, the championship leader, bringing out the caution at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. 117 to go. What's going to happen next? There's one show this fall that everybody seems to be talking about. NBC's new Tuesday comedy, My Name is Earl. Join Earl on his mission to redo all the wrongs he's done. Tuesdays, 9, 8 Central on NBC.
Well,
stop and go penalty for the 20 car of Tony Stewart for removing equipment from the pit stall. Take a look. They were working on it.
You'll see it fly out the back here. You see it sticking out there. I don't think he knew he took it.
No. It's hard to see back there if you're the driver, isn't it?
I tell you what, I'm impressed with the job that they've done on that car. It looks pretty good. So it backed in the wall hard just a few laps ago.
Now Stewart came in leading by 75 points. And you can see how they run now. And we'll check in with Alan.
There is the culprit, Bill. This is not like a lot of the other things we've seen tonight. Tony Stewart ran over something on the racetrack and cut this tire.
Wow.
Boy, it sure looks like the edges, though, are about gone on that rear tire. Look at the right side of the tire.
That might have happened when he was running around with it flat after the air went out of it. You know, you put the sidewall down on the track and so on.
Good point.
He has not had a problem with a tire all night so far in this entire race. And I've looked at all of them that have come off his car.
Bigger problems now.
That's not going to be fun to drive,
No,
is it?
I'm telling you what, that car is going to be very loose.
Field is coming to the green. Take a look at the Napa field summary. 9 cautions for 44 laps. Kurt Busch, Sterling Marlin, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Dale Earnhardt Jr., Mike Wallace out of the race. The top 9 cars did not pit. Waltrip, Elliott Sadler, Casey Mears, Casey Kane, David Stremme, Ricky Rudd, Robbie Gordon, Jeff Burton, David Rudiman. Mark Martin, 2 tires, restarts 10th.
Green flag, green flag.
114 to go. Everybody hang on tight. Sadler looking inside of Michael as they head for 1.
Took that with authority.
Look at that 38 car go.
Right now, Tony Stewart is scored in 31st. Rusty Wallace in the 2 car is 2 laps down.
And the 17 car Kenseth is 10 laps down.
He had tire issues early in the race.
Casey Kane there in the 9. That's David Stremme in 39. All for position right there.
There's Ricky Rudd in the 21.
Robbie Gordon in 7th spot.
And we saw him have a flat tire the first or second lap of the race.
Robbie in that 7 car runs 7th.
Kurt Busch, now the first of the cars that did pit on that last caution flag. And Tony Stewart back the 20 car in the fence.
Michael Waltrip in 2nd, chasing Elliott Sadler. Elliott has led 111 of the 223 laps. Here comes Michael.
And you're seeing these, like I said, it's still that point of the race, BP. These guys are giving a lot of room to each other. Elliott just pretty much got out of the way. Playing it safe and smart right now.
Yeah. And everything else aside, you know those guys at DEI would love to get Michael Waltrip a win before this season is over. Michael leaving DEI at the end of 2005 to go over to Bill Davis Racing, looking for Tony Stewart.
Now you're going to have to look a long way, because I'm telling you what, that car is not going to be fast the way it is.
Boy, Jeff Gordon, who's had a bad night too. And there's Tony. Alan?
Well off the pace right now, Bill, as far as back from the pack. You see the opening on the back end of that car. The rear spoiler blade. I think Wally was the one that was talking about it upstairs. That's their concern, getting that rear spoiler enough up into the air and with enough supporting it to provide pressure down on the rear tires of that car. Right now he doesn't have it. That means he can't go as fast as these other guys.
Yeah, he doesn't have any at all. I mean, that car, he cannot go through the corner staying on the throttle because the car is so loose it wants to spin out. And that's just going to be a tough fix. He's going to be lapped here in no time. And it's just like I said, you're out there. This track is too fast. You can't really even bend a fender on a racetrack like this, or it will affect the car.
And Michael Waltrip did not pit on that last caution flag. And last lap, he ran his fastest lap of the day.
That's a hungry race car driver in that 15 machine.
With a very fast machine.
Yes. By the way, Stewart is meeting the minimum speed. It's 32.06. And Tony last time by 31.72.
And that's a pretty generous minimum speed, I believe. You see Michael working the wheel, and you see how his head gets pushed into the seat on the right there. There's a lot of forces through the corners. This guy's going so fast through the corners. You just get thrown to the right. It feels like it wants to throw you out the passenger door. See how Michael's looking around? His head weighs about 300 pounds right there through the corner with the G-forces that he's pulling through the corners. A lot of work around this place. Anyway, Dave, he's got his eyeballs are pretty big too.
Runs very well here, Wally. Remember last year he started 6th, and on the opening lap got around a Scott Riggs who missed a shift, and he called it magic. It was running in the top 10 all night until lap 319 accident in turn 2. So Michael's been doing very well here. Unfortunately, this spring, remember, he hit his teammate. That didn't work out too well either.
No, that did it?
But if he can keep it up front, Michael could be a factor.
That had people talking, though, Dave.
Oh, yeah. Got him the wrong sort of way.
And there is the field's going to lap Stewart. In fact, Stewart's going to come into the pits. He's probably had enough.
And then we have a report that he's going to go behind the wall, and the team will try and work on that car. Alan?
Bill, an update. They've just told him to bring it to the pit box. They asked him for a couple more laps to finish organizing their game plan. Greg Zipadelli walking around the pit box, talking to different members of his team. Tony said he can't take it out there anymore. Here he comes. They're going to bring it to the pit box.
In the last 16 races, only one finish outside the top 10 for Tony Stewart. That was 18th at Dover. Has had a remarkable season. But a disappointing night here. Mark Martin, another contender in the chase for the Nextel Cup. Update from Matt.
Now, Mark Martin closed 20 points on Tony Stewart last week, looking to do that again tonight, now that the 20 team has had issues. Now, when Mark was on his way down pit road, the game plan was to go with 4. They debated back and forth. Then when his car hit the stall, they took 2 tires. Now, afterward, this was a discussion between Mark and Pat about what their game plan will be for the rest of the night.
Half a pound to the right rear there, bud. Half a pound to the right rear. All the guys behind us did 2-2.
Hey, buddy, don't get me involved in these things from now on. Let's do this thing. You do yours, I'll do mine.
About 10-4.
So for the rest of the night, Mark Martin will have Pat Tryson make the decision of 2 versus 4. The tires they took off had 10 laps on them. They were right side scuffs. They're going to cool down and use those later after they have another heat cycle on them. Good tires for later.
And the Goodyear engineer told me that probably one of the best things they could do would be take the right front and make a right rear out of it. Because that right rears are the tires that you're concerned about.
And getting back to Mark's conversation with Pat, Mark does not want to be involved in those. He wants Pat Tryson, his crew chief, and the guys on the pit box to make the decisions. What Mark wants to do is drive the race car and let the consequences happen. Tony Stewart, former winner here, former series champion, came in with a 75-point lead in the chase. Right now that lead is 21 points.
NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing from Lowe's Motor Speedway, presented by the Principal Financial Group, is brought to you by Principal Financial Group. We'll give you an edge. By Domino's. Get the door, it's Domino's, the official pizza of NASCAR. By Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. And by Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR. Grab a cold one. The race is on.
241 laps are complete in the UAW-GM Quality 500. Michael Waltrip is the race leader. Now, here are the guys in the top 10 in the standings. 10 drivers eligible for the Nextel Cup Championship. Tony Stewart brought out the most recent caution. Ryan Newman had early trouble. Greg Biffle has led tonight, and Biffle currently runs 10th. Rusty Wallace had a tire problem not too long ago. Jimmy Johnson started 41st. He currently runs 11th. Carl Edwards has been as high as 3rd. You see Matt Kenseth also had a tire issue. Edwards is currently 13th. And we talked about it last night in the Busch race. The top 10 guys in the Busch series, many of them had issues last night, and the top 10 guys.
Oh, another one in the wall. Another right front tire. And those guys were just in, I believe. I think they just made a pit stop. David Stremme.
He pitted on lap
maybe they weren't in. Maybe I saw somebody else.
He was in the top 5.
Yeah, okay.
He's trying to get out of the way.
Boy, he went in a ton.
I was coming off of turn 4. He's going home.
David Stremme will be driving the 40 car that Sterling Marlin is driving in 2006.
And he did not pit.
First car.
Stremme was all the way down at the bottom of the corner, and for a tire blow like that, he went all the way up the track and got one heck of a run before he hit the wall.
And got it turned at a very sharp angle to hit the wall.
He was one of the 9 guys that did not pit on lap 217.
And I'll tell you, if it wasn't for these safer barriers, PP, these guys would be getting out a lot slower.
I'm telling you.
The safer barrier, the energy absorbing wall inside of the outside concrete wall. There you get a look at it.
like a big spring. It's like a big compressor here. You see this right here. So when the car hits the wall, this kind of works like a spring, and it cushions the blow. And man, I'll tell you what, it helps a lot. You see how hard they're hitting now? Just imagine if they're just hitting concrete.
Those blocks are actually styrofoam. And you can imagine the give in that.
Curtis Davis had a crash here during Busch qualifying, and they had to go back and work on that safer barrier. That was coming off of 2.
Had to weld it back up. Yes, sir.
Okay, let's see. 90 to go. Michael Waltrip leads, and it's Elliott Sadler, Casey Mears, Casey Kane, and Kurt Busch.
Now,
waiting to see if the up pit road will be open this time. Charge. Matt Yoke.
Kurt Busch running 5th. Now, Bill, right before the caution, he was concerned he was running too fast. Jimmy Finney will keep an eye on his lap times the next run. They are going to make a slight air pressure adjustment because the car was just a tick on the tight side. Snyder in the triples.
Well, Greg Biffle running 8th. He's in the middle of your screen in that 16 car, sitting just a little bit tight at the end of the run. They feel like that was a product of taking 2 tires on the last stop, so no changes, Dave.
No changes either for Michael Waltrip, the leader coming in. 4 tires, Allen.
Carl Edwards haven't talked about it much all night, continuing their strategy of running air pace, trying to save their tires, stay out of trouble. 4 tire change here and an air pressure adjustment, and he's going back out.
Wow, here's a race. Looks like Newman may have gotten it. What do you think?
I don't know. That was awfully close.
We'll have to go to the videotape.
Let's go to the video.
I think Newman's got it.
Wow. You do, huh?
I do.
Okay. Michael Waltrip. Now watch Biffle. Gets a tire. And the question is, how much damage will that do? Then he almost got his teammate, Kurt Busch.
They did hit a little bit.
$250 laps in the books now here from the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Ryan Newman leading the field here under caution. This is the tire off of Jimmy Johnson's car, the right rear tire. It's about a 2-inch cut, and the tire obviously lost air pressure. Jimmy caught it under caution. Very good catch by Jimmy Johnson. The suspicion is they ran over some debris from David Strimme's wreck on the racetrack and not anything on pit road, but Jimmy caught it, found it, came to pit road, and changed that tire. Good catch by Jimmy Johnson.
And it's amazing when these cars leave pit road and drive to the apron that they all don't have flat tires because of all the crashing we've had here today.
Jimmy Johnson is now 29th, the last car on the lead lap, according to the NASCAR scoring. Ryan Newman is the race leader. 2 tires on his pit stop, was 15th before the caution. Joe Nemechek in the 0-1, the lucky dog. Coming up tonight at midnight on USA Network, it's the final stop of the DO Tour. The PlayStation Pro Championships are up for grabs in Orlando. That's the PlayStation Pro tonight at midnight on USA, and tomorrow at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on NBC. Those guys are wild.
They are nuts. I can't figure out how the first guy ever did those jumps and what have you. Who started all that mess?
I think the first guy that tried probably wasn't the first guy that made it.
That finished. Yes. All right, here we go. 84 to go. Ryan Newman leads at Charlotte.
And Ryan Newman taking the lead as they run. He is the new NASCAR Next Up Cup point leader.
Car behind him is pretty fast. That's Rusty Wallace in the
Rusty
two.
Slides up the racetrack. He's got to get out of the gas or he's going to run into 38.
3 wide down the front stretch.
Michael Waltrip in the 15, trying to get past Sadler for second.
See how that car just took off?
NASCAR,
look at that,
has warned some of these drivers, including Michael Waltrip and Dale Jarrett, not to hang back on restarts.
Elliott Sadler spins.
Has led 112 laps, backs it into the wall, almost exactly what happened to Tony Stewart.
Come on now, come on.
Bliss gets a piece of it. You just do not want to be up front tonight.
I don't think you want to be racing tonight.
Yeah,
Burns.
that's true.
Dave Burns.
He did shout to his crew, "I've got a flat," just before that, guys.
Now they will probably
here. We're going to fix. We'll finish this thing. Come on.
bring the blowers out. They need to blow the apron, because obviously they got a lot of debris down, so they'll need to blow this place off really good. Here we go. And boy, if you know a tire's going down and you're at the front of the pack, not a whole lot you can do.
And you get out like that, you're pretty fortunate.
Yeah. Everybody did a good job.
It's the best of a bad situation, yes.
Although I think Bliss probably got ran into by somebody.
It's too bad for Mike Bliss.
There's Bliss there in the zero car. Looks like Scott Riggs is going to get into him.
You got to go a long way to see one like this. Unbelievable.
Okay, they have red flagged this race so they can clean the track. We had 2 red flags last night for cleanup. This is our first tonight. 11 caution periods under the red flag at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing presented by the Principal Financial Group. Time for our Wrangler 5-star finish. Well, how about Jimmy Johnson? A lot of success here. Lowe's Motor Speedway, Coca-Cola 600, May 2005. Earlier this year at the Coke 600, Jimmy Johnson battled Bobby Labonte down the stretch. Then Johnson made the pass in the trioval to take the checkered flag. Another close finish. It was Jimmy's 3rd consecutive victory at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. He's won 4 of the last 5 here. For more on Wrangler 5-star finishes, log on to NASCAR.com. Right now, Jimmy Johnson sitting there 28th.
And we see him with a water bottle in his hand. NASCAR, remember at Daytona when they stopped the cars and everyone said they should have brought some water back there? Well, now they have started taking water to the drivers on these red flag situations.
They did it last night in the Busch race as well. Ryan Newman leads. Michael Waltrip currently 2nd. BP?
Let's try to talk to him. Hey, Michael Waltrip, Benny Parsons, you got me?
Yeah, Benny, and I know you knew there was a risk of this when you came to my car, but I got to think Napa, the best place to get parts. Domino's 555 deal, Best Western, Oreo Cookie, Clouser Furniture, and all my sponsors. Tony Gibson is the man. He has just put a setup in his car I love. And let me tell you something else. Don't ever doubt Goodyear. We are just abusing these tires, running way faster than we should on them. Go get your tires from Goodyear. They're the best. Now, that commercial's over. Could I help you with anything?
Did he say Coke?
No, you didn't say anything about Coca-Cola, Michael.
Ah, darn it. Coca-Cola, Remington, Bass Pro.
Oh,
all those people.
Tell him he's on camera,
guy wants
too.
to know if I want water.
Oh.
I'm talking on TV.
Hey, Michael, tell me about the car. It's unbelievably fast tonight.
I keep having a blister on my right rear, so it could blow that out and crash, but also could win this race, and that's kind of where we're at right now.
I mean, is that where you are, Michael? You have to take a chance on blowing a tire to go out and try to win the race?
Well, I don't know any other way around it. We've been as conservative as we can. We'll try to run. We got basically what amounts to a couple of 38, 39 lap runs, and we've made it that far before on tires, so we have every reason to believe that we can get to the finish. But, you know, it's always a doubt in your mind as to what's going to happen. This car, though, Benny, is just so good on the tires. I haven't chattered them. I haven't pushed them. I just have to guard against being a little bit loose on the restarts for a couple laps. That's why Elliott got around me, and I know that's the smart way to be. And I've just been as calm as I can be, but I can't say enough about my crew. And plus, are you looking?
Yeah, I'm watching.
The best I've had all year long, and Earnhardt Incorporated is a great team, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Michael, what percent are you driving the car? Are you driving 100%? 95, 90?
Somewhere around there. We'll see how hard I can go if I got to, but when I had to lead there, I certainly was taking care of my tires, and Elliott seemed to be doing the same, and then he kind of fell off, so that helped us. And Gibson and Ray and all the boys that are looking over the tires say we haven't had a right front problem yet, and I guess that's, you tell me, Benny, has everybody been blowing those, or have we seen some right rears too?
Well, Michael, they've been blowing front tires, but most everyone is blistering the right rears just a little bit.
10-4. How about that USC Notre Dame game? That was good, wasn't it?
Man, that was unbelievable. Michael, thank you so much. Good luck to you.
How about?
Always a pleasure to talk to Michael Waltrip. Time for a station break from the Lowe's Motor Speedway outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. They've just given the command to refire the engine here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. The Irish with a heartbreaking loss to USC earlier today on NBC. Next Saturday, 9th-ranked Notre Dame takes on the high-powered offense of BYU right back home in South Bend. BYU, Notre Dame, presented by ADT next Saturday, 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific on NBC. Update from Dave Burns on Elliott Sadler.
They go to work on it, Bill, now that the red flag has been pulled. They did come to pit lane under the red flag. They will be penalized for doing that 2 laps as they sit here when they're done. They're going to try to keep that deck lid in place. That's their main concern, to try to fix this car.
Elliott passed the pace car trying to get to pit road, so he will be held for 2 laps. 1 for passing the pace car and 1 for the lap that he got by passing the pace car.
Yeah, he'll be racing Stewart.
Yeah, and he won't be having any fun either. Pit road is still closed, so let's see if we can get through some of the things that have happened in the first 254 laps. We came on right when the green flag came out. Elliott Sadler and Ryan Newman on the front row. Robbie Gordon brought out the first caution, and guess what it was?
A tire, left rear tire.
And that was an indication of what was to come.
Jeff Gordon on lap 46 in the outside retaining wall ruined his day.
Said he just lost the air off the car. Gordon is out of the race. Dale Earnhardt Jr., listen.
He could feel that one.
Matt Kenseth, one of the championship contenders. Right front tire issue. Tony Stewart, everybody else comes to pit road. Tony, communication error between driver and crew. Had to come in later, restarted deep in the field. Ryan Newman wanted to make sure he had enough gas, so he took the filler can with him. That was a pass-through penalty. Bobby Hamilton Jr. with a right front flat. Lap 125.
Sterling Marlin. Right front flat.
You get the picture so far?
Guess what this one is?
Right front flat. Kyle Busch was leading the race.
But wait, there's more.
When that happened. Kevin Harvick, hard hit last night, hard hit tonight. Rusty Wallace, right
flat
rear.
Tire.
Yep.
And then Tony Stewart leading the race. Cuts a right rear tire.
Ran over something on the track. Stewart came in as the championship leader. Had a 75-point lead coming into this race. David Stremme off of turn 4.
Another right front flat.
And then Elliott Sadler, the guy running second spot, in the wall. And also Mike Bliss involved in the 0 car.
So that's 255 laps in, and here are the championship standings. With 79 to go here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway, Ryan Newman, now the championship leader. Under caution at Charlotte. Been a long night, got a long ways still to go. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Still under caution here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. So
I didn't know you rode around in the truck earlier tonight.
No, that's a candidate to replace you in Wally's world in the left-hand seat. No monkeying around here tonight.
I'm telling you.
Oh, you're tough. You know, Dollenbach, you are really tough. Next Saturday on TNT, it's NASCAR Busch Series racing from Memphis at 3:30 Eastern Time. Then next Sunday, the chase for the Nextel Cup heads to the Martinsville Speedway in Virginia for the Subway 500. That's at 12:30 Eastern, beginning with the Bank of America Countdown to Green on NBC. Marty?
And guys, very methodically during 2 laps, Jimmy Johnson's team changed the battery in the 48 car. Took them, as I said, 2 laps to get it out. They pulled this battery out. That's the bad battery. And they're actually in that casing are 2 batteries. Put a new casing in with 2 brand new batteries for Jimmy. He's reported the volts are much better. They changed right side tires also when they came down pit road. So everything good now for the 48 car and should hold out for the rest of the race.
Mark those words.
Rick Monroe is getting ready. One lap and he's going to throw the green flag. Get rid of that yellow flag. Attaboy, Rick.
It's our 11th caution period. We did have a red flag here a few minutes ago. Track cleanup. We've got 28 cars on the lead lap. The first car off the lead lap is Rusty Wallace. He's 3 laps down. 2 laps down now.
Uh-oh, we cued the duck already, but he's back live. That is so funny.
It couldn't be the same guy, because you wouldn't be brave enough to wear that twice.
His brother. And he had a wife or a girlfriend with him. I don't think I'd want to be seen with him.
Be careful. Just after 11 o'clock Eastern Time, NBC Sports live at the Lowe's Motor Speedway outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing, presented by the Principal Financial Group. It has been a wild night, all kinds of tire issues. Some of the biggest names in the sport out of the race, including Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Gordon. These drivers have been in the seat for 3 hours and 41 minutes and change. And many of them watching the end of that Notre Dame game just before they climbed aboard. Coming around to complete 2:59. Ryan Newman, the race leader.
Okay, we're getting down to it. About 70 laps to go, but I don't think we're still in the situation these guys can push the envelope. If they do, there could be trouble waiting for them.
Jimmy Johnson needs to push the envelope.
He started 27.
Back 27. He's got a long way to go, so he needs to be passing a lot of cars right now.
Tell you again, that 17 car running alongside of Michael Waltrip and Casey Mears. That's Matt Kenseth. He is 10 laps down. Tire issues early in the race. He's not been able to make anything up.
Fast race car, though.
Michael Waltrip looking at Ryan Newman for the lead. Alan Bestwick on Ryan Newman.
Bill, I think I just heard BP say you can't go too hard quite yet. You can't push the car. That is what Matt Borland, Ryan Newman's crew chief, told him just before the restart at the end of an extensive discussion about what their strategy will be if they pit with 50 to go and 25 to go. Matt reminded Ryan, you still have to take care of the tires.
But there's going to be somebody behind him that's not.
Like maybe driving the 15?
Yeah.
And Michael just told us that he really hasn't had any tire problems today on this 15 car.
We have confirmed from pit road that the tire issue on Elliott Sadler's car was a puncture. Ran over something on the track, a punctured right rear tire.
Right aboard Michael's car. There's Casey Kane down on the bottom of that number 9 car. He's been pretty fast last couple laps. He's going to try to take third away from Casey Mears, but can't do it.
And how strong was Dave, how strong was Casey Kane here a year ago?
Yep, and he was very strong earlier tonight. In fact, so much so, and they've done so well in the tire department that crew chief Tommy Baldwin said, buddy, get up on the wheel. We can win this thing, telling his driver to drive it hard. Matt?
Mark Martin pleased with the balance of the 6 car. He's had 3 issues on pit road tonight. He's overcome all 3.
Man, Michael had a 12 car sideways off of 4.
Michael got a great run off of 4.
So good, in fact, he ran in the back of the 12 car.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. Here's Casey Kane. He's in his groove now, up high on the outside of 41 car.
He'll take that spot now. And Michael had Ryan, pretty sideways, and Michael checked up to let Ryan gather that race car. So,
and
Michael knew he did the wrong thing, but tried to make up for it.
Matt.
It looked like Newman was at Eldora or Terre Haute the way he saved that car.
Yep.
I wanted to tell you, keep an eye on the 6. Keep this in the back of your mind that back on lap 245, when Mark Martin went to enter pit road, he couldn't get the car out of 4th gear. He didn't want to strong arm it to get it out, but he did. He said it seems like the transmission's okay now, but he's one of those chasers that's made up a lot of ground in the championship chase here tonight. He doesn't want to throw it away and have a bad night.
Thanks, Matt, and sorry we interrupted you there, or Michael actually interrupted you. The longer we go, the shorter your patience get.
Yeah, and well, it's getting down to race time. I mean, we've got 68 laps to go, but Michael's got a good race car. He's going to take a look. He's going to get it.
Michael Waltrip to the cheers of the fans. Yep.
Casey Kane's going to dive underneath and take a spot away from Ryan Newman, so he goes to second.
So Ryan showing some patience. Okay, Michael leads. Let's go back and look at 15 and the 12. A couple of laps ago.
Michael's up on the high side. He's got a good run, and Newman comes up in front of him. And actually, Newman got Arrow loose first, and then Michael was right there. Watch the back of the 12 car to get sideways right there. He hit the wall now.
Scott Riggs looks like.
Yep.
And that's why they told Ryan Newman to still take care of those tires.
And Riggs had some earlier damage from running into the back of Mike Bliss when Elliott Sadler backed into the wall. This is our 12th caution. That'll tie the cautions for this race. The record is 22 at this track. That was from the 600 here in May. Okay,
so that's 34 for the year, caution flags year.
So far.
At the very top, we see the right front tire go flat on the 10 car, and in that wall he goes.
Rusty Wallace is the lucky dog. Pit road remains closed. We'll take a break. Michael Waltrip looking for the win at Charlotte. Pit road just opened. Michael Waltrip comes down pit road, but a number of cars do not, including Casey Kane and Ryan Newman. Marty.
Bill Greg Biffle running 7th said it's just a hair-tight quarter round of wedge out of the left rear. That's the only change. Dave.
Michael Waltrip didn't want to pit, but he takes on 2 right side tires and fuel and just misses Scott Wimmer coming in.
Yeah, that was a nice move by Wimmer. He slowed down, saw Michael was leaving.
BP, they may have lost a little track position, but I think that was a safe move to make.
Well, we've seen all these tire problems tonight. I think you have to address them.
Casey Kane, Ryan Newman, Casey Mears, Mark Martin, among the guys that did not stop. Well, this is going to be interesting. 63 laps to go. Who's going to see it pay off bigger, the guys that stopped or the guys that didn't? NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing, presented by the Principal Financial Group. NBC Sports live at the Lowe's Motor Speedway just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. Temperature headed for a low of about 54. Clear skies, 130,000 plus. Benny Parsons' closest friends are here. We're all going over for burgers after the race, BP.
Good. Come on over. All you folks. I'm only kidding. Because a lot of these people know where I live.
But top 9 guys didn't pit, Dave.
And the 15 car Michael Waltrip did, Tony. I heard him talking about, I don't want to pit. I hear you say you have to. Why?
Well, we just, NASCAR's just looking out for everybody. They're just trying to make sure everybody's got the right pressures that Goodyear wants us to run. We were down 2 pounds from what they wanted to see us run. So, we wanted to do the right thing and come in and put the right pressures in the right side tires and get them on there. We gave up some spots. We got a really good car. We're going to be fine. I don't blame NASCAR for doing what they're doing. They're just trying to do the right thing to make sure all the drivers are safe. So, we came in, gave up the track position just to show them that we put the right tires on with the right air pressures that they wanted. So, it may hurt us, it may not, but we're doing the right thing. We're doing, what they want us to do. So that's what that stop was there for. We wanted to make sure that we had the right air pressure and the tires, and they were happy, and NASCAR is happy with it. And, like I said, we're not mad at anybody. We just wanted to, we didn't know where we stood for a while, whether we could be down or up. So we know right now where we're going to be, and we're just going to go after it and try to win this thing.
Thanks, Tony. Matt?
Now, Pat Tryson, your team's fought blisters like everyone else. Have you figured out what your game plan is for your final stop tonight?
It all depends when they come. There might be 2 more stops the way the night's been going, but right now probably going to do 4 tires and gas and go after them real hard and try to win the race.
They've got sticker tires ready to go up on the wall. He will restart from 4th.
Okay, thanks, guys. Casey Kane, Ryan Newman, Casey Mears, Mark Martin, Ricky Rudd, Kurt Busch, Jimmy Johnson, Dave Blaney, Joe Nemechek did not pit. Those are the front 9 guys.
And I don't blame these guys because all these cars are going to stop at least one more time.
Green flag, green flag. Single file restart. Rusty Wallace is the only car 1 lap down.
The only thing, BP, is out of those cars, you don't want to be the one that brings out the next caution.
Well, that's true.
Casey Kane led more than 200 laps in this race a year ago. Ended up on the wall.
Tell you what, Casey Mears is running good tonight.
He is.
41 car.
He ran awfully good at Kansas last week. Talking about the 41.
Alan, how about Ryan Newman in the 12?
Yeah, talking about the decision to pit or not pit under that caution bill. I just talked to crew chief Matt Borland. I said, why did you not pit? He thought about it for a second, and then he looked at me and said, that's a good question.
Dave?
Casey Mears has to be careful, though, with that 41 car. They did have a badly blistered right rear early on, and so they've had to take care of that 41 car. So he has to be careful about how he's racing it.
Uh-oh, I'm told that Michael Waltrip just scraped the wall. Coming off turn 2.
That's okay.
Just keep going?
That's nothing.
Actually, I guess that's turn 4.
Your new air pressure.
We're talking about the air pressure that NASCAR mandates in the cars. We got car up, blowing up.
Blowing up behind you.
Jamie McMurray, Michael Waltrip, they got Dale Jarrett.
Got in it.
Carl Edwards slides by.
Oh, man. Michael had such a great run going.
Something happened to Robbie Gordon. He just went through the grass. He's headed for pit road.
I don't think he's got any brakes.
There's Robbie. Went right through the infield grass through an opening in the wall.
Over, boys.
I think something happened to the 7 car. Someone blew up in 3 and 4.
Well, there's a couple of guys that, Michael and Kate, those guys were side by side, and they were Jamie McMurray.
Right.
And McMurray got loose underneath the 15 car, so it made 2 different things, I think, happen.
That's like we saw with Stewart and Ryan Newman last night.
Yep.
Dale Jarrett. Talladega winner from a couple of weeks ago. All right.
Now watch what happens. See, Jamie's on the low side we talked about earlier. It's loose on the bottom when you're that close to each other. McMurray just gets up into Michael, and they both spin out. There's Jarrett. Gets right into it. I'm not sure where's Robbie's deal.
I think he's back in the corner. There you see him at the very top of the screen smoking.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's blown a front tire or just blew up.
And now on board with Michael Waltrip.
Oh, blowing up behind you. Blowing up behind you.
And we're wrecking.
Thank you, NASCAR.
And on board the UPS Ford with Dale Jarrett.
This will be ugly.
Push it down. Put your hands up. Keep coming. Stay high. Keep coming.
That is a terrible feeling when you see this big gap in front of you and you're like, I'm going for it, and then all of a sudden it closes right up in front of you.
And Carl Edwards did a fantastic job hanging onto that car going through the grass. There's Robbie Gordon.
Get it down. There you go, come on. You got to spin her from her front stretch. Back it down, spin on her front stretch.
Looks like Robbie
outside
blew up
wall,
and then
outside wall.
And then got into the wall.
Okay, Alan Bestwood.
Robbie Gordon has climbed from his car behind the wall. What happened, Robbie?
I don't know what happened there in front of me. I guess timing's everything. We ended up popping a motor there coming around turn 3 and 4. So, it's unfortunate. These guys are getting better with their engines. We just missed it a little bit tonight. I think we had a really good race car. Easily a top 10 car again. Just biding my time watching all these tires pop. But there at the end, anytime we wanted to go, we could pass 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 cars and get ourselves into the top 10. So disappointing finish for us, but the speed's still there.
Thanks for the minute, Rob. The lucky dog is Rusty Wallace, and that puts him back on the lead lap. 13th caution tonight. Record was 12. We talked about it.
And Michael Waltrip, they made the choice to pit. Gets back in the traffic
But he was racing with a good car though, because McMurray's had a good car. It just Marty.
Yeah, Wally, Jamie did have a great car tonight and made very few changes to the chassis. What happened on that?
I don't really know. I'm kind of curious if you guys can give me a replay of it.
There's your replay.
Let me look here. I don't know if when I got into him there, if it cut my tire down or what, but I saw the caution. It came out, and the whole night it was somewhat like kind of playing Russian roulette. You just would wait for a tire to blow out and hope it wasn't yours. It was totally different type of racing than what we normally have. And you get on the inside of guys and you just get so loose. I don't know, Michael got into the wall just a few laps before that, and I think he got tied or loose or something, and just kind of was struggling to maintain the speed, and I got underneath him, and apparently I got loose.
Are all the drivers running at less than 100%, Jamie?
When we started, I didn't go real hard. My car was fast, though, on new tires. And then I would run hard until I felt like I could fill one in, lose grip. And we tried. I was really, really loose. We kept blistering the right rear tire. And we tightened the car up one run. I got tight, and I told him I'd rather be a little bit free as to blow a right front. You didn't see me by blow a right rear. So, just a very frustrating evening to try to race like that.
Yeah, that sums it up. Very frustrating evening for these drivers.
Thanks, Marty. Thank you, Jamie. They are officially out of the race.
Yeah, we only have about 50 laps left, and to repair these cars would probably take 30 or 40 laps. So
Mike Wallace, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Bobby Hamilton Jr., Sterling Marlin, Kyle Busch, Jeff Gordon, Stuart Kirby, David Stremme, Mike Bliss, Ken Schrader, Scott Riggs, Jamie McMurray, and Robbie Gordon, you can add to that, out of the race.
And Dale Jarrett.
And Dale Jarrett, that's right. Although not officially out yet, but doesn't look too good, does it?
We'll go ahead and add him to the list.
Okay. Should I color that in then with my Sharpie?
Yeah.
Okay. So Casey Kane scored as the race leader.
All right, pit road is open now. Those guys the last time that chose to stay out, are they going to come in? I don't see much point to it, do you? Because they've still got to stop once again.
Jimmy Johnson hits pit road.
And he gave up the 7th position to come in.
Marty?
Well, Jimmy was fairly committed to coming to pit road this time, wanted 4 fresh tires, said it's not time to quite go as hard as he can yet, so they're going to take on 4 tires. They're also going to make an air pressure adjustment. Car's been a little bit tight for Jimmy. The voltage issue is still there, running a little below 12 volts on those brand new batteries they put in there, so that is of concern because obviously the alternator not working, so it's like an orchestration, a dance, if you will. Jack and Al says turn off the rear fans, turn on the rear fans, so it's really an orchestration of how Jimmy is doing this inside the race car, so they've been managing that all evening long. 4 fresh tires for Jimmy Johnson. Matt?
And Michael just walked to the infield care center. First off, describe what took place coming through 3 and 4.
I think I blew a left rear tire because I thought it blew up, and then Jamie ran into the back of me and spun me around, and then while I was spinning around,
there he goes.
I was revving the motor up, so I was like, well, it didn't blow up, but
there you go. There's the replay.
It blew a left rear right there, and I think that's what happened. The left rear was tore off of it, and I don't think what Jamie did could have caused all that. And I think when my left rear blew, I turned into him. It's really hard to tell, but when the car stopped, I looked at the Napa Auto Parts Chevy, and I needed to go down to Napa and give me a new left rear tire.
Well, the good thing is, though, you're okay, and we can tell you're okay because you've got everything in there, including your third sip.
And so I got to go now, right?
You got to go now.
Bye.
See you, Michael. Guess what? We're under caution at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Kasey Kahne leads Ryan Newman, Casey Mears, Mark Martin, and Ricky Rudd. It has been a wreck fest tonight. Still working the 13th caution of the night. If you're in the chase for the Nextel Cup, you probably haven't had a very good night. Matt Kenseth, right front tire issue early in the race. Robbie Reiser's guys worked on it, got him back out. Matt's 31st, 10 laps down right now. But wait, there's more. Ryan Newman with his fuel can with him, but he has rebounded and currently runs second. Rusty Wallace, right rear tire issue, but twice he's been the lucky dog. Rusty Wallace back on the lead lap.
And then a huge bad break for Tony Stewart leading the race. Right rear tire is flat, backs in the turn 3 wall.
Tony Stewart is 6 laps down, scored 25th. And there are the championship standings as they run right now with 49 to go. And an interesting point here is that Tony Stewart just picked up a number of positions because Michael Waltrip, Dale Jarrett, Jamie McMurray, and Robbie Gordon just fell out of the race.
Yeah, let's see, he's going to get a top 25 out of this thing, or even better, perhaps.
Yeah, he's currently running 25th, and they're not through wrecking yet, I'm sure.
There's Tony. Came in tonight with a 75-point lead in the championship standings. We're going to try this again. Send the pace car to pit road. Kasey Kahne in that 9 car leads Newman, Mears, Martin, and Rudd. Ryan Newman looking under Kasey Kahne down the backstretch.
Kasey Kahne's going to hang tough on the outside, though.
That's probably going to spoil the chances of Ryan Newman taking the lead. It just dawned on me. The Dodge folks are very happy. Currently the top 3 cars, all Dodges, and Mark Martin tries to go by Casey Mears.
3 Dodges, 3 Fords, then 2 Chevys.
Ricky Rudd sitting there in the 5th spot in the 21 car. Kyle Busch looked underneath Rudd, but got back in line.
Kurt Busch.
Kurt Busch.
There's Biffle back there trying to get by Joe Nemechek in 0-1. Looks like he'll be successful. Well, I spoke too soon.
Alan, how about Nemechek?
How about this for a night, Bill? That team has changed batteries twice on that car. They've had electrical problems. They changed the battery the second time to make sure they had enough juice to get to the finish. The alternator's out. Doing pretty good. Marty?
And Alan, we talked earlier about guys being patient, holding things back early in this race, and Greg Biffle just came on the radio, said, "Can I go now?" The word came back, "No, not yet. Can't go now."
Yeah, it still looks like some of these guys are driving a little bit more greedy than they were earlier.
Busch trying to make his way forward, Matt.
And he's doing it very well. Just moved into the top 5. Now he is looking ahead to his final stop. He feels like his car performs much better when he just goes to the 2-tire change. So he's looking at right side tires on his last stop, while his teammate Mark Martin, who he's chasing down right in front of him, he says that he wants to go 4 sticker tires on his final stop. He feels like the car is most comfortable on stickers. Dave?
Ricky Rudd lost a position on that restart, but has been running very well. Words like happy and liked it have been coming out of his mouth. A little bit tight, small adjustments all night long, and Ricky's looking at a great top 10.
Strong run for Rudd. And these guys in front of him are pretty racy. Mark really wants past Mears, and Biffle's watching both of them. Kurt Busch, rather.
I don't really think Mark wants to be on the bottom making that pass, but Mears is kind of in the middle of the racetrack, so he's not giving Mark much of a choice.
Mears closing in on Ryan Newman. Newman runs second. Everybody chasing Casey Kane. Now Newman edges away. Down the backstretch. 42 to go.
Hey, what, Mears is getting a really good bite off the corners on that high line there, Dave.
Boy, he just scooted up high there, Wally. I thought he might have had a problem. Jimmy Ellis told us earlier today when we checked in with him, they wanted to hang around just under the radar all day long, kind of like the guy who's passing him right now, and be strong at the end. And so far, that plan has worked out for the 41.
Rusty Wallace making an unscheduled stop, Alan.
Yeah, just ran into their pit stall building. They've got tires up on the wall and looking to find out what the trouble is. But Rusty had a flat earlier. They're going to make a 4-tire change here. He had a flat tire earlier in the race. He had just gotten back on the lead lap, made up 2 laps by the lucky dog rule. And now here he is again under the green.
Scored 24th.
Mark pulls over. Biffle takes a spot, and Rudd wants a 2.
Mark raced him hard there for a while, but then decided to let him go.
Now let's see if Kurt Busch can do anything with the 41 car on Casey Mears. Mark tried. He couldn't make it.
Yep, there's Busch. Gets up behind the 41 car.
Casey Mears' best career finish, 4th. Texas earlier this year, Watkins Glen a year ago. A guy that's had some heartbreaking runs recently.
Busch kind of wants to take a look down there, but Casey Mears is running a pretty good line right now.
Casey Kane has caught Rusty Wallace. And Rusty is what, a couple of laps down now?
Yes. Rusty is 24th, 2 laps down. The next car behind him in 25th is Tony Stewart, who's 6 laps down.
Now Kurt Busch on the inside of Casey Mears. Looks like he's got it, Matt.
BP earlier in the race, he told Jimmy Finnick, if you think I'm running too fast, too hard, you let me know. The last time by, Jimmy said, we've got 10 more laps we want to run on this set of tires. You are working them awfully hard, letting him know he is not over-abusing those tires yet, but he is working them a little too hard.
Well, he's moved into the 2nd position.
Casey Mears wants by Newman.
Hard not to do. This, you know, when you're 37 laps to go, you can see the leaders in front of you. You think you got a good race car. You're wanting to get a little bit racy right now.
Mark Martin trying to follow Mears under Newman. Mark gets down there, but
yeah, he can't pull it off, and he slides back a little bit on from the middle of the exit of the corner. We'll take another run at him here. Just don't think he's got enough race car up on him. Now Rudd in the 21 car. I think Newman slipped off the corner there a little bit.
Looks that way because Mark Martin is going to be able to finally get by the 6 car.
Martin in the 6 by the 12. And now Rudd's going to try Newman. Biffle watches from behind in the 16.
And as Newman is sliding back and losing these positions, Tony Stewart has reassumed the lead in the chase for the NASCAR Next Del Cup.
And you can see how that's also bringing guys like Kenseth, Mayfield, and Busch back into it.
Biffle by Rudd. Biffle in the 6th spot, right there in the 16 car.
Meanwhile, Casey Kane is pulled away. Leads by 0.6 of a second. The 2 of Wallace is 2 laps down.
Down about 5%. I want to back her down another 5.
Kurt Busch talking about taking it easy because he must feel like something is going on with his tires.
Matt?
And what you heard was right before that, Jimmy Finnick was telling him his lap times, and he also thought that Kurt might be pushing a little too hard. And that's when you heard Kurt say, okay, I've already backed it down, I'm going to back it down some more. Alan?
Just to follow up on Rusty Wallace, all the tires were up as far as air pressure is concerned. They think one of them might have been loose. They're still checking the rims over very carefully, but they think it was a loose wheel.
And that's the battle for the lead right there. Kurt Busch looking at Casey Kane.
So much for the backing it off, 5 or 10%.
Just got in the gas and made up 0.6 of a second like that.
Go for it. I got to back her down.
That's Kurt.
Well, Rusty got by Casey Kane. So now Rusty's only 1 lap down.
But Kurt is backing off. He's backing down. Because he caught him quickly. But now he's just decided to follow Casey Kane rather than try to pass.
Kurt Busch in a Ford, running second. Casey Kane in the Dodge. Ricky Rudd for position under Ryan Newman. Newman fights him off there. Ricky's going to charge back underneath.
Ryan Newman is really having trouble getting off turn 4. That's where all these cars have been able to pass him.
Allen?
Yeah, Bill, not a lot on the radio. Whoop, got one slow.
That's a 9 car, the
Casey
leader.
Kane.
He's got, sure, a right front tire down.
Caution is out. Dave?
He had just reported moments ago getting tighter and tighter. The car refused to turn, and they said just take care of it. About that time, he found the wall.
I don't think he's hit the wall, Dave.
Yeah, he just blew right front, Dave.
He might have a little damage to the fender, but at least he did save bending A-frames and all that stuff by making contact with a wall.
Here it is.
It's like Kurt Busch made a wise choice in backing off just a little bit.
Goes right there. See the sparks? Actually, Casey did a good job catching that.
A fantastic job.
Because a lot of times you don't get to catch it.
And he's very fortunate. Was right by the entrance to pit road. Our 14th caution period of the night.
Now then, I think this is the pit stop that's going to decide who wins and who loses. Because I think they can probably make it the rest of the way without pitting again. Some cars, once they make this pit stop, will not pit again.
Well, Busch, Mears, Mark Martin, and Newman last pitted on lap 245.
Unless the yellow comes out with 10 laps to go, or around that area.
What are you thinking, Alan?
I was just listening to Benny there and listening to the radio with the crew chiefs. And BP, you've had right side tire issues all night.
Yeah.
Do you take 4 here or do you take 2?
Well, I think guys that changed 4 last time, Alan, will change 2.
There's a big debate down here right now. It's going to be a lot of fun to see who does what.
I would take 4. I'd take 4 now and then take the right sides on the next yellow.
Which would be the 15. So you're predicting
another caution.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yes, okay.
Well, I think we're going to see guys pit this time, and this will be their final pit stop. Now, Casey Kane, you say, well, he's made his pit stop. He has tires. He should be able to start up front because none of these other cars have pitted. But under NASCAR rules, you have to wait till pit road is open. His penalty for pitting too soon is he will have to start at the end of the longest line.
The lucky dog is Rusty Wallace.
Again.
3rd time tonight.
This time, 4 tires of gas, quarter round down right rear.
That's Pat Trison talking to Mark Martin.
Pit road is open.
Here they come, you guys. Matt?
Bill, the debate for Kurt Busch, 8-lap scuffs or sticker tires. They're going to go with the sticker tires. That way, he can run as hard as he wants to the finish. They're going to go up on the track bar to free the car up slightly. Let's go into the triples and start with Snyder.
Matt, Greg Biffle running fourth. He's in the middle of your screen. They want 4 tires. He said the car is awfully good. They want to know what changes. He said none. Alan?
Ryan Newman, bottom left of the picture, sliding back before the yellow, says, I want 4 tires. They'll give them to him right now, Dave.
Lucky break for Casey Mears. He had picked up a bad vibration just before that, was thinking about pitting, and he comes down pit road, slow stop, 4 tires for the 41, no changes.
Not everybody took 4.
Jeremy Mayfield, I know, is in the mix, so he had to change 2 or none. My guess is 2.
Yeah, 2. We'll go down to pit road, find out when we come back to the Lowe's Motor Speedway in Charlotte.
Tuesdays on NBC, it's my favorite show. It's the story of a man named Earl. He's done things that he's not proud of, but now he's on a mission to repair everything he's ever done wrong. Find out which bad deed he tackles next on the critically acclaimed My Name is Earl. That's Tuesday at 9/8 Central on NBC.
Very nice.
Thank you, Wally.
I think I'll watch Earl now after listening to that.
You'll love it.
You can relate to that, huh?
I love that show.
24 laps to go. What can possibly happen next?
Let me guess.
The caution.
Yeah.
Ricky Rudd, Joe Nemechek, Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, Carl Edwards. The top 5 cars, 2 tires. Then it's Kurt Busch, Jeremy Mayfield, Greg Biffle, Mark Martin, and Casey Mears.
And Jeremy also, I'm sure, changed 2. Oh boy.
Oh boy, he's right.
Oh boy. But you know, 23 laps to go. I think the tires will last this long. Hopefully.
Marty?
Well, Bill, I think the 48 team has been through everything tonight. Let's first of all talk about the decision to take 2 tires there, Chad. Why?
Well, we came in on the last stop when everybody else stayed out and took 4 tires, knowing that, well, not knowing, but realizing that the pattern for the night has been a caution about every 20 laps, and 40-some laps to go, we thought it'd be a wise choice to come in, take 4 tires at that point, get as much track position as we could, and then come in and take 2 and hopefully get up closer to the front, which the guys did an incredible job on that 2-tire stop. They did a great job changing the battery earlier, and we'll see if we get out here with a top 5 finish.
Jimmy has said the alternator has suddenly woken up, so they're thinking it may be a gauge. All along may have been a gauge saying the battery was going bad. Dave?
Real quickly with Michael McSwain now. He's talking to Ricky. They took on just 2 right side tires. Have your lefts been okay, Fatback, and can they last?
Yeah, they've been good. We've seen minimal wear all day, or all night, I should say. The car's been pretty good. I just hope we freed it up enough, but we got some clean air here. That should help a little bit. We'll see. He's had a good car all night, and take what we can get.
All right, Ricky Rudd's the leader. Alan?
Ryan Pemberton has just climbed down from the pit box. Ryan, can you hang up there? You worked all night to get back.
Yeah, it's been a trying day here. The Army team's done a great job. They've really pulled together here, changed a couple batteries. Car's been great. We're just pacing ourselves early in the day. Don't want to push it too much. The problems that everybody's having, so we've just been pacing ourselves. Like 22 to go when we get here, so I think that we should have enough tire left to make it to the end.
He's probably got all his toes crossed inside those shoes, plus all his fingers.
15 cars are out of the race.
All right, here we go. Pace car off.
Ricky Rudd will bring them to the green. Rudd has been in 58 races here. He's never finished in the top 2. His best finish at this track, 3rd, twice.
Can't really run 80% now. Got to go.
Rudd, Nemechek, Jimmy Johnson.
Nemechek trying to get that outside position on Rudd, and looks like he might have it.
He's got it, Benny, and I think Jimmy Johnson is going to try to follow him through.
And Rudd is slow.
Pace.
Ricky Rudd off the pace. Oh, and Jimmy Johnson
smoking.
Is that tire smoke?
Yes, the car. He's driving the car harder than he has. He's driving the car harder than he has all night, and the tire's going up hitting the fender.
Oh, I guess he's burying it. Wow.
Maybe he ran the 21 car.
I was going to
say, he looks like he's got contact right there above the fender. Marty, did he make contact with 21?
That's what the team thinks, Wally. He made a little bit of contact when he was swerving behind the 21 car, and that's knocked the left front fender in on that tire. Dave.
That's what the 21 thinks too, Marty. And they're still discussing whether or not they have a problem or not, but the 21 definitely contact with the 48.
Rudd remains on the track. In fact, 11th that time by.
Hitting that thing pretty hard, Benny.
I'll tell you what, it seems to be getting worse instead of better.
It's on board.
Jimmy Johnson second on the track and second in the championship standings. Watch for the smoke here. The 48.
48 just squeezing in there, and they just made contact right there. And it just bent the fender on top of the tire.
And that's when Rudd got out of the gas. Meanwhile, Denny Hamlin hangs onto that third spot right behind him.
Now, eventually he'll either wear enough rubber off the tire where it'll stop smoking, or it'll cut the tire.
And what happens then?
Contact with the wall.
Nothing good.
No.
Kurt Busch in fourth. Chasing Hamlin. Carl Edwards runs fifth.
And Jimmy Johnson, the last lap, ran his fastest lap of the night. So
it looks like it is getting better.
He's after Joe Nemechek.
Dave?
Pretty good race for Denny Hamlin in that 11 car. Second Nextel Cup start. Been making small changes to the car all night long. Came down pit road during that last caution. Made an air pressure adjustment for a car that was having just a little trouble turning. Matt?
It's been a horrible chase for Busch. A 35th, 23rd, 8th, and 14th last week at Kansas. And BP, remember on Thursday in the garage, he walked up and said, all I need is a little bit of luck. And maybe tonight, his luck will start to change. He has 4 tires, slowly reeling the leaders in.
He gets by Denny Hamlin, moves into that third position.
Hamlin took just 2 tires on that stop.
Jimmy Johnson is closing the gap between him and the 01. Marty?
Well, Jimmy's been asking his spotter, Chris Osborne, does it look any better? Does the tire smoke any better? And I think we're going to have a battle for the lead here pretty quickly, guys. It is getting better for Jimmy, and he's going to go for the lead here on the front stretch.
He's going to get the lead. Down into 1 on the bottom. Well, Nemechek hangs tough on the outside.
But, I think Jimmy's got it.
Nemechek comes back.
I think Jimmy was in front. He just didn't realize he was in front.
Normally going in 3, the guy on the outside can run in a little bit harder. Jimmy Johnson's car is sticking pretty good down there, but side by side.
14 to go.
And that's letting Kurt Busch, the 97 car, get closer to these 2 guys.
Johnson down low, Nemechek up high.
How about 3 wide down the front stretch next time by as Kurt Busch tries to get on the inside.
Johnson falls in behind Nemechek.
Jimmy Johnson knew what was going to happen with Kurt Busch. He was going to make it 3 wide.
Nemechek holding his line. Going to make Jimmy Johnson pass him on the bottom. And that's a hard thing to do here tonight.
We're getting down to it. 11 laps to go. I'm sorry, 12 laps to go next time by.
On board with Johnson, looking ahead at Nemechek. Busch right behind. Jimmy Johnson in that 48 car has won the last 3 races at this track and 4 of the last 5. Started 41st tonight.
He got a good fight through there, Jimmy Johnson did.
I'll tell you what, this racetrack owes Joe Nemechek one here in May. 8 laps to go. He's in the same position, leading the race, and the right rear tire punctured and blew.
Here comes Kurt Busch, takes a look underneath.
Kurt trying to get second away from Jimmy Johnson. Can't do it. Marty.
Bill, just think about what Jimmy Johnson has been through this evening. They thought they had a battery problem earlier on and an alternator issue. He's been switching fans on and off all night long while he's been driving the race car. They've had at least 3 sets of tires that had blistered right rear. So Jimmy's been processing all of that in his mind, saving his car all evening, driving at 80%, he says, and now going at 100% and going for another win here at what he calls his house.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. won 4 races in a row at Talladega. Johnson trying to match that with 4 straight here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway.
And Bill Elliott won 4 in a row at Michigan.
That's right. The only 2 times it's happened on a track.
Got to run.
More than a mile in length.
Martha Nemechek, Joe's mom, said, "Come on, Joe."
Jimmy Johnson trying to get around Nemechek. Johnson to the lead.
Clear, Jimmy, clear, clear, clear.
Oh, that's what he wanted to hear. Martha did not want to hear that.
Joe's #1 fan.
Your stuff. Save your stuff. You got a big lead. Save your stuff. 9 laps to go.
Crew Chief Chad Canals talking to Jimmy Johnson.
These guys are all holding their breath right now that this thing stays green.
Save your stuff.
Behind this, Denny Hamlin has fallen to 5th, Mark Martin 6th, then Mears, Carl Edwards, Ryan Newman, and Rudd is 10th. Seven to go. There are the standings right now.
Stewart and Johnson tied. Imagine that. And Biffle all but tied, 16 back. But it isn't over.
This race marks the halfway point. 5 down, 5 to go when the checkered falls 6 laps from now.
Kurt Busch taking a look again underneath it. Yep. And he's there.
Tony Stewart on pit road.
He's got the spot.
Get tires.
Oh, and he slides up in front of Nemechek. Nemechek coming right back at him. The crossover.
Jimmy Johnson's loving this. Trying to pull away.
But now Kurt Busch has the preferred line.
And they've got company.
Greg Biffle in the 16, the National Guard trying to get past the Army. Trouble on the backstretch. Car around.
But Rusty Wallace.
One blowing up on the back.
Rusty Wallace. More trouble for another contender in the chase for the Nextel Cup.
Oh, Jimmy Johnson did not want to see this. Left front tires flat. Of course, that could have happened as he spun around back there. Yeah, Chad, you didn't want to see that caution flag, did you?
Last call for Rusty Wallace here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. 2-time winner here. It's Ryan Vickers, yep.
Just got busy back there.
Yeah, he did.
What else to say?
Johnny Sauter, the 09 car, passed he and the 25 of Vickers as they battle off turn 2. Sauter in the 09 car, and it's like Rusty hit a bump or something and just.
I think he got hit by Johnny when he was making that pass. It looked like Rusty and Vickers had to kind of check up because they were almost wrecking together. Sauter had to run, and it may have made a little bit of contact that just knocked Rusty's car out of shape.
Rusty Wallace,
and that's for the 12th position. Those guys are running hard.
Now this says he's trying to get to pits.
Right rear blows. Takes the fender with it and the cone.
Rusty's gone all season without a DNF, but did not finish.
Still there, still there. Watch it in front of you. Still there. Spin in front of you. Clear, all clear.
What's that, BP?
Sauter didn't make any contact with Rusty there.
looked like he had contact with Vickers, though, obviously.
I think he and Vickers might have made contact. He certainly was trying to keep the 2 car off the 25.
Jimmie Johnson, the race leader. Just a handful of laps to go here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Still under caution here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Take a look at how the night has gone for the guys in the chase for the Nextel Cup Championship.
Right front tire flat early on.
That's Matt Kenseth, sorry.
Tore up the fender. Had put some tape on it, tried to keep it together.
Newman's had all kinds of issues tonight.
He just needed a little bit more fuel. He wasn't getting the mileage everybody else was getting.
And Tony Stewart punctures a rear tire and backs it in the fence.
Leading the race there.
But he's 25th spot.
And Rusty Wallace, the last caution flag. Spins off turn 2 and then spins again, trying to get to pit road.
And how do the guys on pit road feel right now?
The 48 car had the race won, but now he has to survive 2 more laps.
A restart. It's the hard thing.
You can see right now Stewart and Johnson tied for the lead. And it's only 142 points back to Kurt Busch. And as Benny said, 2 more laps to go.
It actually closed up from last week.
Yes.
Or after last week's race.
Yeah, Mayfield was 157 back coming in. Now 115.
All right. Next time by, green flag. Kurt Busch is going to try it on the inside. Viv will try it on the outside. And Nemechek will be watching. Trying to figure out which way he can go.
Two laps to try and get it done here. Single file restart. Jimmie Johnson has won 3 in a row here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway for the last 5. Kurt Busch, Greg Biffle, a couple of Roush teammates right behind him. Right now it's a Chevy chase for 2 laps.
Kurt Busch tried to get that momentum on the outside. Didn't work.
He's got a lot of speed going down the backstretch anyway.
And Jimmie Johnson drove that car in, and parts on that car started dragging. We haven't seen drag all day.
1 more lap.
White flag, final lap.
Driving 110% now.
Yes, sir. 2 more turns. Does not look like Busch can get there. Jimmie Johnson has had a wild night. He and his crew have fought through all kinds of problems. But Jimmie Johnson, 4 in a row at Lowe's.
Unbelievable, guys. You guys are the best. There, guys. Jimmie, you drove your heart out, man. That's one thing about this team. They never, ever make it easy for us. And we come back from it every time. You guys are the best. Awesome. Jimmie, incredible, man.
Jeff Gordon.
Unbelievable, guys. Thank you so much. Never quit, man. All the adversity tonight, that's true championship form.
Dave?
Yeah, Chad just said not bad, huh? Chasing battery issues, watching tires flying all around you, and you got to victory lane.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's the thing about this Lowe's team. They never, ever give up. You know, in the face of adversity, this team fights so strong. And we had a bad week at Talladega, and then we came to, or where did we go at Talladega? I don't remember. Kansas.
That was Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas. You know, we had a good race there, and that's what we needed to get back into the hunt. And these guys worked so hard today. You know, we had tire issues. We're battling back and forth between scuffs and stickers and the battery change and all that stuff. It's just, what do you say? These guys are the best. We got the best race car driver. We got the best team. We got the best edges. We got the best everything. We're pretty fortunate.
And he continues to be winning in his house. Jimmie Johnson tonight, guys.
Thanks, Dave. Chevrolet congratulates Jimmie Johnson in the 48 Monte Carlo on today's win. The defending manufacturer's champion takes win number 571 overall. Chevy, the revolution races on. wins in a row at this track for Jimmie Johnson, 5 of the last 6. Once the checkered flag.
That is something else.
And remember how strong he was beginning with this race in the chase last year. Won 4 of the last 6 races. Matt Yoakum.
And he made up 82 points tonight, Bill. Back in this chase, Kurt Busch, you said you needed some luck. Was this the kind of night you needed to turn this all around?
Feels good. We didn't have anything really out of the ordinary happen to us. Nice, solid day. We lost some spots when everybody decided to use the high groove. I was like, where's everybody going? And so they went to the front. We learned that. And then after that, we just played our strategy to only race hard when we had to. And that was towards the end to gain that track position. And then 2 tires or 4, I wasn't sure. But Jimmy Fenning, I stick with my crew chief all the time. Great run for Irwin Industrial Tools Ford. And, to race a 48 like that here, it's his home track. He runs hard. And, Jack Canales has had that problem of getting through tech lately. He'll see if he gets through today.
He finished his second here tonight. To Dave Burns.
And Tony Stewart limps his damaged race car home in 25th here tonight. Tony, sum up this night.
Why don't you sum it up, Dave? You got to watch the whole thing. I didn't get to see much of it. So.
It was crazy.
Well, there you go. I mean, we did the best we could with what we had. I mean, we were the fastest car all night. We just, I was listening to a stat Zippy was telling me, 42 out of 43 cars have tire problems. So, welcome to the wonderful world of racing here. It's just weird nights.
Tony, what do you think we should do? Well, I probably shouldn't ask that because I think I have a feeling what 4 things on this car we should do something about. But Tony, what would be the solution?
I don't think it was Goodyear's fault. You can't blame Goodyear when they didn't know there was a change. So, it was just it was a bad set of circumstances that started before the May race, and everybody involved did their part in trying to make it as good as they could. So, I don't know that you can point the finger at anybody. Everybody tried to make it better. It was just, this is just what we had to deal with tonight. So, we take our lumps and we go on from here. So, everybody can point fingers all they want, but everybody involved, from NASCAR to Humpy to Goodyear, everybody involved did everything they thought they could do to resolve the problem and make it better and make it safe for all of us. So, you can't ask them to do any more than that.
Okay, Tony Stewart, thank you, and tied for the points lead at this point. Marty?
Rusty Wallace had a fairly clean night until the last few laps. What happened?
I just lost it. I drove up underneath the 25 car. I've had a flat tire, had loose lug nuts. I just kept getting laps down. Finally got every one of the laps back and got back up in there as we're going for it. I said, man, just hammer down. There's nothing to lose. And I went for it, and I was just passing like crazy. The car was handling great. And I caught the 25 car, and I went to go to the outside, and I see he moved up. He was taking my line because he knew I was going up there. That's fine, fair game. And then I could see he was just blocking the top of the racetrack up, so I just shot to the bottom. When I shot to the bottom, I had it made all through 1 and 2. Then I just, on the exit of the turn, I just got loose, and it got off from underneath me, and that was it.
Alan Bestwick in victory lane.
And Jimmie Johnson just getting unstrapped. He's having a look over his shoulder at car owner Rick Hendrick, who stepped around the corner to have a word with Jimmy. Well, Jimmy, congratulations. Tell me now, how realistic did you think a win was at several points during this race?
This is the first drink I've had in a couple hours. I couldn't even run the Gatorade system inside the car because the batteries were dying. We changed batteries. Alternator had some troubles. Flat tire. All kinds of crazy things. I just can't thank my guys enough for always working as hard as they do, giving me great equipment. I've been blessed with this opportunity. Hendrick Motorsports, Lowe's, all their employee owners. Today was about teamwork. We thought we were down and out a few times, but never gave up. Found our way to victory lane.
When you were racing with Joe Nemechek and Ricky Rudd, you got the damage. You were still able to come back around Joe for the lead and eventually the win. How concerned were you then?
I was really concerned. I saw that Joe had a run on the outside of the 21, and I went to follow Joe through. The 21 tried to squeeze into that hole, and I tried backing out of it, and we had a little contact and caved the fender in. So I took it easy for a few laps, and it kind of clearanced itself. And then I worked on Joe. He was really strong and had the preferred line. And then finally I got by him after a couple attempts and got the slowest Monte Carlo in victory lane.
Couple of quick thoughts on your 4th straight win here, and you are now tied with Tony Stewart for the championship lead. Thoughts there?
Wow, that's incredible for us. good day. That's what we needed to do, and I can't believe that we always end up somehow towards the front at the end of a race. The 600, the last lap, we got it done. Missed one in the closing laps after a long night of adversity. Just an unbelievable day. I've got to thank all of our associate sponsors as well on board. Hendrick Motorsports, the engine shop, chassis shop, everybody did an awesome job. Plus we started at the back. I mean, this has been one heck of a night. I can't believe it.
It's starting to sink in. Congratulations. Jimmy Johnson, winner tonight.
From 41st to 1st. 4th win of the year for Johnson. His 5th win here in 9 races. 18th career victory.
Good run for a lot of these guys. Nemechek got a 4th spot at it. Casey Mears, 6th. And how about Denny Hamlin? 2nd Cup race, finishes 8th.
Carl Edwards fought back to finish in the top 10. And Jeremy Mayfield used that strategy at the end to finish 11th.
The green dots on the right-hand side of the screen indicate drivers that led a lap. Elliott Sadler led the most laps.
And there you see Elliott Sadler will finish 27th. Tony Stewart, 25th today. And
that's a big 25th finishing spot for him, though.
Because it could have been 35th.
Yep.
All these cars are out.
A lot of outs. 24 cars finished on the lead lap. 15 cars failed to finish. Take a look at the championship standings as the chase for the next Nextel Cup hits the halfway mark. 5 to go.
Gets better and better.
Man, it doesn't get much better than this.
Tie at the top, then Biffle, Newman, Martin. It's just 142 points back to Kurt Busch. The most points you can make up in one race, 156. Next Saturday on TNT, it's NASCAR Busch Series racing from Memphis at 3:30 Eastern. Then next Sunday, it's the Subway 500 from the Martinsville Speedway on NBC as the chase for the Nextel Cup continues. Coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern with the Bank of America countdown to green. Tomorrow at 1 Eastern on NBC, it's continuing coverage of the Samsung World Championship, followed by the Dew Tour PlayStation Pro at 4 Eastern. Next, except on the West Coast, it's your local news, followed by Saturday Night Live. Thanks for having us in for the race. 4 in a row for Johnson at Lowe's. But Jimmy Johnson